Hello, welcome along to Racing Post Live. Great to have you with us here on this Saturday. We've given Dave Orton the week off, so I'm going to take over for this week. We've got loads of action coming your way from 3 different tracks. We've got Ripon, we've got Newmarket, and we've got Newbury as well. It's something for everybody, really. We've got the classy races like the Geoffrey Freya and the Hungerford, the Grey Horse Handicap at Newmarket, and the Great St Wilfrid Handicap up at Ripon as well. Let's introduce the panel, shall we? First of all, to my immediate left, Nat Green is here. Got that right, didn't I? Good start.
Got it right. In one. See, I knew you'd be a first-time wonder.
Look at your homework. Copious notes you made about today. I'm impressed by that.
Everybody who knows me now on the show knows I do all these notes. Sometimes they're blank, sometimes it's full. Just depends on the race. But I can go back a long way now, and I try
that whole season in there.
I know. That's what I like to do.
Brilliant. We like that.
Not like this one here.
Yeah, Mr. Two Computers over there is Ross Brierley. Very good afternoon to you, Ross. How are you?
I'm very well. Yeah, I'm opening a small electronic shop if I can interest you in anything. Any upgrades? I also make notes, but I have progressed past school holidays and fresh stationery.
Can't beat the pen and pads. Come on.
No, to be fair, I do miss the pen and pads.
I don't even use an iPhone calendar. Like I actually have a physical calendar.
Do you use an abacus? Do you to get that up? But yeah, I've got lots of notes as well. I don't just come here and make it up.
That's nice today.
Thanks very much. I feel like that was a dig.
No, it looks nice today. Dave Orton would be pleased. Sometimes your hair looks good today.
Thanks. It's called not getting it cut.
And you're going to help with the commentary today as well. You're not going to leave it all to me, which normally happens when I'm on here. So that's good. Thank you for that.
Well, I figured
the workload.
You probably get. You being asked to present and do well. I guess say your normal job, but not that you don't present anyway. You're a jack of all, master of all trades.
I was going to say master of none. I thought I was going to say. I was waiting for the master of none.
All trades. But yes, I will step in for some.
Good. And you got the big fields. Don't you? You want to do the Great St Wilfrid, which I'm more than happy to pass over to you.
Absolutely, because I have nothing to lose if I get it wrong as well. I mean, like, it's not a commentator, it's fine. So, but yeah, I prefer the big field sprint handicaps because the small fields, I just drift off halfway through. So I think they're much harder than the 20 runner races. So.
What we think about today, Natalie, I've called you Natalie already. Nats, what we think about today is a day. People say it's not the greatest Saturday. I guess it's kind of in between Goodwood and York a bit, isn't it? But we got some good racing. It's not like Group 1 standard, obviously, but it's good.
I get really frustrated. Why does every single Saturday have to be a Super Saturday? It doesn't. Like the Shergar Cup day, you love it or you hate it. There's so many haters. I just think, oh my God, it's one Saturday to enjoy. And the whole atmosphere was amazing. The girls' team, it was amazing. Today, there's plenty of good action. There's still quality horses. There's still group racing. I genuinely don't see why every Saturday has to be. It almost then you just take for granted. It's like, no, I'm not into it. I think it's ridiculous.
Especially, I mean, I like the way the flat season sets up. The fact that the jump season is so Saturday focused. But I like the way the flat season that you might have a quiet Saturday, but next week's going to be phenomenal, isn't it? We're going to it's cracking racing,
and all week, all week. So absolutely. It's okay to have a slightly
quieter Saturday, right? One man who's never quiet is the 4th member of the team because Barry Orr's going to join us as well via the technology, I think, right now. Barry, are you with us?
I certainly am, folks. Good afternoon. How is everyone?
Yeah, good. How's Tricks over there?
Great, not a bother. Yeah, looking forward to some decent racing today. I always like the Great St Wilfrid. I always think it's a cracking spectacle up there in Ripon, and it's a meeting that I actually want to get to. I'm sure you have all been there, but it's one that's definitely on the bucket list for me.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful at Ripon. Yeah.
Yeah, I get to do one day a year commentating up there, and it's always good fun. It's quite undulating as well, isn't it? I didn't realise how.
Seriously undulating.
Round course, I find that it's difficult, isn't it, sometimes to try and make up ground for some reason on that round course. If you can get in front, if you can handle the dips and things on a front run, you've got a great chance.
It doesn't suit all the horses, does it? It really is a bit of a...
Stat of the day, you have to go back to 2015 to find a Great St Wilfrid winner that didn't make all the running. And even on that year, the front runner got pipped bang on the post. So like you said, you get horses who... They set off and they go, what on earth is going on here? And by that point, something's
where do you want to be, do you think? Far side, near side, high, low? What would you... I mean, I was looking at Lampang. He's drawn low, isn't he? Whereas...
You just want our rail, I think.
Yeah.
I think you just want our rail.
You don't want to be in the middle. You don't want to be in sort of 11 or 12. No man's land.
No, absolutely not.
OK, Barry's Lucky 15. Let's enlighten us with this right now. 4 of the finest from Mr. Barry Orr, who's in great form.
Yeah, we're going to do a charity Lucky 15 just to kick off now. Unfortunately, in one of the races, two of the races actually now, it's only paying two places and not 3 places. But obviously a Lucky 15, 6 doubles, 4 trebles, 4 singles, and a 4-fold accumulator. So it's 15 bets. We're going to do it for a quid each, and we're going to do it eight. We're going to do it for a quid each, and we're going to do it each way, please, Ross. And it's consecutive races in Newbury. And the 145, we're going to go Seattle King, Rafe Beckett's horse. In the following race, then the 220, we're going Golden Pass. In the race after that, the 255, we're going Sunset Bay. Jack Point, the non-runner there, so it's only 2 places now, unfortunately.
I think you're getting a bit quicker, Barry. I think you're getting a bit quicker, Barry. Ross is going to need to borrow my notebook in a minute.
Too many laptops. Sorry, we've got I put Seattle King and Sunset Bay.
Seattle King, Sunset Bay. Yeah, you've got Golden Pass in the 220.
Golden Pass in the 220. There we go.
And Sacred in the 330.
And Sacred.
The Hungerford.
In the
and that's each way for a quid each way. Like I said, it's 6 doubles, 4 trebles, 4 singles, and a 4-fold. So it's 15 bets for a quid each. We're going to do it each way. It's coming in at £30.
All right, so it's £2,834.80 if it comes in, Barry.
That'd be nice. And the charity this month, as you guys know, is the retraining of racehorses. So anything we win in these charity bets, while we're showing the functionality of the exchange and the sports book, will go to the retraining of racehorses.
Beautiful, much needed.
Yeah, great charity that as well. They had a stand actually at Lingfield. I was there on Thursday, the retraining racehorses, and they were parading them around, just showing how much life they have after racing, don't they? There's so much they can do, these horses, after their racing career's over.
They can do anything. You've got one thing about thoroughbreds is they are so intelligent. They are very clever animals. They can do anything: showing, dressage, eventing, show jumping, the full shebang.
And is it important as well to do this at racecourses where people are, you might be there early, might be waiting for something for the first race, to have a chance to see these horses parading and a little bit more information about them? It helps people understand, doesn't it, about how important it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did a lot when I was doing a lot of race day presenting on course, and on the microphone I would tell the crowd a little bit about each horse. But I think it's just nice. You see them a bit fatter, because they're not race fit. You don't want them race fit, but then it's always hilarious when you see them back on a race course because they're, oh my God, I'm not racing again. It's wonderful. I think it's great to see them after their career in racing. Yeah. Good
stuff, and that's the charity's going to benefit, hopefully, from Barry's selections. I'm sure there's a winner amongst there somewhere with that lucky 15. We're not too far away from our first race, are we? Which is the 145, the Denford Stakes, formerly the Washington Singer Stakes, over the straight 7. I was going to ask you about former winners of this race, but I've been told not to. But Lam Tara's the one I remembered. I got the year wrong, but Lam Tara won this race before Derby success many years ago.
Yeah, good old Lam Tara, who, when I was 10, was winning this race back in 1994. I'm not sure I was tuning in, personally.
You missed it, did you?
I think I was probably more concerned. 1994, I was definitely, given the time of the year, I was more concerned with filling up that Premier League sticker book.
Oh, okay.
That was my focus at the age of 10, I feel. So, yeah, racing history in the early 90s is slightly before my time.
Right, just going to try and go to find the winner. Let's start with Nats. There's an interesting race. I was at Salisbury when Seattle King won. I was quite taken by that. We've got Bayside Boy. He's got a similar profile, hasn't he? 1 from 1. And we've got probably the horse with the best form in Masakela. It's a tricky one to try and weigh up. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I would love to give something that you were like, wow, and make the most convincing story. But Masakela, to me, looks the one to beat, just for all the obvious reasons. It is pretty obvious. But Bayside Boy, now, it was impressive, that debut, but there's so much I like about Roger Varian. David Egan's red hot at the moment, very sort of like enthusiastic. I think it'd get a really good ride out of Bayside Boy. It was a hands and heels debut, to be fair. I didn't have to look for the whip. Beat Find, who already had a little bit of smart-ish form. I've seen the entries, obviously, like many of these, the Champagne Stakes, the Royal Lodge, blah, blah, blah. But I do think Masakela does look the one to beat. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I quite like Bayside Boy. Yeah, Roger Varian.
Roger Varian last Saturday, 4 runners across the tracks, 4 winners, extraordinary. Yeah. Andrew Balding last Saturday, 3 winners from 5 runners. I mean, they're yards that really hit the board on Saturday.
Lying, like Andrew Balding, he's 27% last 14 days.
Is he ever out of form, Andrew Balding?
I can't recently. Season.
Incredible.
This is his best season.
He's winning everything, isn't he? He's literally winning everything. Juveniles, he's 20 from 87 on turf with juveniles this year. 50 quid profit if you backed every single one of them, just blind. But Roger Varian has won this race twice in 10 years with only 2 runners. So every time he sends a runner to this, he's won it. He won it with Bellardo a few years ago, of course, who was turned out to be pretty high class. And last year with St Lawrence, who wasn't necessarily. I remember last year it was pretty desperate ground, I think, and St Lawrence won that race fairly comfortably. But Bayside Boy, I was quite taken with his debut. He beat Find, who'd finished second to Lou Sale, who went on, of course, to July Stakes glory. So Find was a really short price favourite. Bayside Boy was held up. He's a big horse. He's got some scope to grow into. So the fact that he won first time out, I think, is a bonus. And he just kept going and going and going. He looked green as he hit the front, and he kept careering away.
Yeah, he was green.
I like to compare. Speed. I do. Most of my selections are speed figure based, and for example, when Masakela went on his debut, I got him doing a 66. I've got Bayside Boy doing a 69, Seattle King doing a 69. So I know Masakela's gone on to improve, but there's no reason in my mind why Bayside Boy couldn't go on and do the same thing.
Should we get Barry's thoughts, Barry? I mean, how's the market shaping up, and what do you like here?
Masakela they'd come for. It was each of 2 at one stage around the 6-4 mark. 2-6 Masakela, Bayside Boy 2-8-2. The 2 best backed in the race, though, are 2 of the outsiders. Seattle King 5.5 now from 7.6, and Holiday is 22, having been matched at a high of 40 on the exchange, and there was 200 quid at 40. It was 15 quid at 48 as well. I'm going to lay both the 2 at the head of the market because, like I said, I thought Seattle King in Salisbury, he was well punted that day, well found by the market, and he ran green, and despite running green, he went on to win well. I think that could work out a decent enough race. Now, I know the second is well thought of, and Holiday is well thought of as well. So if we take 50 quid of the backer stake out of Bayside Boy and Masakela, we're getting them at around 4-1 on. 6-4 each of 2 is 4-1 on. So we take 100 quid out. Our liability is going to be around 25 quid. So I'm happy enough to lay them coupled at around 4-1 on and have Seattle King and Holiday and the rest of the field running through. 25 quid we lose around there if either of them win, but we win 100 quid if any one of the rest of the field win.
Okay, yeah, I would call that race at Salisbury. I was really impressed by Seattle King. There was a lot of horses in the race that had runs as well, and the fact he could beat them on debut and the way he went away, I like him.
Lovely
Just to
pedigree.
confirm, by the way, you're laying them both for 50, is that right? Not the liability of 50, Barry?
Yeah, we're taking 50 quid of the backer stake, Ross.
I think what was nice about Seattle King as well, though, is watching the replays, like, the penny dropped, didn't it? 2 furlongs, do you know what I mean? And then when the penny dropped, it was quite nice to see, I'm off. It was good.
Who's calling this one? Do you want this one, Ross?
No, you do this one.
I'll do this one. Okay, we're all set. It's a small field, so I'll take it. Here we go. They're off for the Denford Stakes, formerly the Washington Singer, over the straight 7. First to show is Masakela, William Buick. For the informed Andrew Balding. One that's a little bit keen there is towards the outside of Rob John, the dark green and white. The leader is Masakela early on from Amor Vincent Omnia in second, son of Caravaggio, well named. Seattle King is third. Holidays in fourth. Fifth for Bayside Boy held up, and the back marker is Rob John. They settled down for the first couple of furlongs, and the leader is still Masakela in front. Bayside Boy, the main market rivals, moved into fourth place now. Far side Holiday, newcomer for Richard Hannon, is going quite well. What do we think, guys? Nats so far?
Yeah, Masakela's in a nice rhythm, and there's nothing wrong there, being up front prominent, because obviously as soon as he came out, looked a bit keen, so you want to just get that nice settled. Doesn't look like David Egan's got too many problems, having to hold enough to just the cock jaw.
Yeah. Ross, what do you think, quickly?
Yeah, Bayside Boy's got a lovely run into this. He's got some cover. It's just whether he can find, but I think he might well do. And the Daskamore down the left running a lovely race as well. But
He is, isn't he?
I'm a bit disappointed if Bayside Boy doesn't pick up Masakela here, given the way he finished last time.
Here we go. I don't think Seattle King's going to deliver the goods. He looks a little bit one pace today against these better horses. Masakela's game in front. But now he's headed by Bayside Boy, and Bayside Boy has gone on. But Masakela's come back at him. Look at this. He's coming back, Masakela. Doesn't know what he's beaten. Rob John's running a good race as well, but it's Bayside Boy in front by a neck. Bayside Boy by a half. Masakela fighting all the way to the line. This is going to get close. He's got him back, I think, Masakela. Masakela's got him back. Remarkable. Bayside Boy, we'll find out from Barry how short he went. I'd suggest very in the run. But Masakela, Andrew Balding, you can't beat him at the moment. William Buick, of course, chasing the tail of Oisin Murphy at the top, has got a winner, I think, here.
That was kind of awesome because,
If you back Bayside Boy, it wasn't.
I mean, doing the notes today, I honestly couldn't split them. I found it really hard to split the horses, and to see them go that close,
Wow,
that was...
what a finish.
Yeah, it was a bit of a. There wasn't a huge pace early on. Masekela got a nice, fairly easy time on it, and of course has a bit of experience. It's proven
3 runs compared to the other horses, 1, I guess, isn't it? A bit more battle hardened, a bit more Street Fighter-ish.
But you said you still thought that Bayside Boy.
I was about to put a 1 on my card of Bayside Boy when he went that half length ahead.
Yeah.
Barry, he must have got. Did he go the minimum price in running there, Barry, or burnt fingers? I think there. Bayside
105, 20 to 1 on. He went 105, ends up 20 to 1 on for 230 quid. Your winner, Masekela, hit a high of 29 just for small money, 4 quid, 16.5 for 40 quid, 14 for 60 quid, all the way then, obviously, to the basement price of 101. So, favourite backers off to a winning start. Well, in terms of the first and second, 2.61. They were very rarely you'd see that on the exchange, but Betfair SP of 2.61 each of two, both of them. Very rare you see that.
2 smart horses, I think. Ross, would the proximity of Rob John have you question the form of those two, though?
Maybe, but I would say 2 things against questioning the form necessarily would be that the pace was so modest, so they're not going to be strung out all over the shop. And I do think Rob John came out of a good race. I think that Ever Given nursery at Goodwood looked a really good one. So I don't, the winner Ever Given then went on to run probably to a level of sort of mid-90s, high 90s, maybe over in Ireland in a valuable sales race behind a horse who might well be single figures for the Cheveley Park later on in the season. So, no, not necessarily. I still don't think it's the strongest piece of juvenile form. Masekela's already been put in his place by a couple of nicer horses. I'd be a little bit disappointed if the front 2 didn't reverse form if they met again, just because Bayside Boys had to learn to do something completely different there, and he was a little bit keen, and Masekela's got a nice twin into it. And as you said, Andrew, the Balding horses, they're just, like I said, you could just back them blind. I didn't really fancy that many of them today, but even then I thought you should put them all in a multi just in case, and it wouldn't be the craziest thing.
No, it wouldn't.
4 or 5
It's incredible, Nats, isn't it? They just seem to all go so well. Juveniles, stayers, he has winners over 2 miles, sprint handicappers, 3-year-olds. They're just the whole range.
I suppose, I was speaking to, I knew I was going to forget his name. He's such a lovely lad that works for Andrew. Spoke to him at York, and he was like, definitely his best season so far, Andrews. But there's so many horses. I think he said like 230, something like that. I've probably got that wrong.
This season he's had 150 individual runners.
But he's got 230 horses.
He'll have a load of back end horses.
Load.
Well, yeah.
So I always think if you've got that, I reckon when you've got that amount of horses, you must be able to pick out the good ones that are doing a good piece of work. I reckon you can gauge things, and also he's clearly very good at placing his horses in the right races. And actually, the Dascombe horse. Blew
and
up
more Vincent Omnia ran well, didn't it?
Blew up at the end here in the closing stages, but that could just be one to still an encouraging run. Well,
the pedigree of the Dascombe horse is very much middle distances and 3-year-olds, so I think there will be improvement to come. But it's another boost for that Bosch race at Newbury. Bosch is, I think, entered at York next week and was in the same race with Ever Given that Rob John had. So there's a lot of form lines that kind of collide. But loads of winners came out of that Bosch race.
Like a spider's web.
It is very much like that.
It's like a spider's web.
That's the flat season.
The other 2, Holiday, he was up there for a while. He just got a bit lost, I thought, in the final furlong. Maybe a bit much for him, wasn't it, against those first time?
Yeah, but he also holds a Royal Lodge entry. But he was like a really cheap purchase, wasn't he? It was like 6,000 guineas. And wasn't really anything to know about that one. But
And Seattle King, what do we do with him now? Does he looked to me like he got outpaced. I think he might want a mile already.
Well, I mean, his family, I guess he's Sir Qualmy Star, Tribal Craft and Star Maker, they're all 10, 12 furlong horses. I mean, Tribal Craft has come good this year as a sort of a 4-year-old in soft ground.
I think he'll be a good 3-year-old.
Yeah.
I think he's not going to be that outstanding juvenile, but I think next year you'll see the best of him. Maybe
I mean, given the yard, surely back-end soft ground mile is
it was
ideal.
good to soft, I think, at Salisbury, wasn't it? And it's obviously dried up a bit today.
I mean, given they didn't go much of a pace, I got the feeling he was looking around for gears that he didn't really have.
Yeah, I think, like you said, a 3-year-old just over the winter, stronger, more chance to grow, more feed, everything. They don't, they're not all the stars at 2. They can come into their own at 3. So yeah.
I mean, if anything, it was a surprise that he won first time out. Seattle King, given his pedigree. I mean, he's by Kingman and his other family
People
members
made
are
him
a bit
favourite in the
stouter.
race.
Yeah, there was money from that day. 130 joint favourite he went off, didn't he, Barry, that day at Salisbury? So
Yeah, from
yeah.
8 or 9 to 1. Yeah, he was really well punted. It wasn't a surprise to the people who backed him, obviously, that he won that day. There was no pace in that race there. You know, he wanted a good gallop. He needs a good gallop, that horse. I suppose that mile race in Newmarket is, what's that, Royal Lodge or something like that? Is that what it's called, the back end in October?
Yeah.
It was a good group race, a group 3.
Or even the mile and a
I'd
quarter,
say
even
it's-
the mile and a quarter race for 2-year-olds in the year, you might want.
Yeah, maybe, potentially. Yeah, you'll see them go to those Newmarket 2-year-old races, I'd say, where they step up to the mile and a quarter.
I think you'll end up coming up against Bayside Boy again, though, because, I mean, he's related to Forest Ranger and Homecomings, who were kind of...
Oh, he's got amazing relatives.
Yeah. Lovely,
Amazing
lovely horses.
relatives, yeah.
Well, again,
really
progressed
good.
at 3, but were also good back end at 2. So, yeah, you got the feeling there, didn't you? That there was quite a few horses in that race who were by far and away not the finished article.
Yep. Definitely some improvers to come from that race. Should we move on to our second race of the day, which is the third on the Newmarket card, which is a Fillies Handicap. Now, number 1 is out Maccabi, so we have 6 runners to go to post for this race coming up over at headquarters. The one horse being out, Gulwar, was the horse I kind of landed on here. Andrew Balding, can he do it again? Martin Dwyer, of course, he's ridden a classic winner, hasn't he, for Andrew Balding many, many years ago. I'd imagine that, Barry, we'll go to you first of all. She'll be the favourite here, wouldn't she, Gulwar, I'd imagine?
Yeah, she is. She's 4.1 Enzo at the moment. After that, you have Midar, who's 4.45, Quinella Dor, 5.8 Eileen Dover, 10.5 Shingle, and Military Two-Step 13.5, all quoted there. 2 improving fillies, I suppose. Gulwa and Midar. And that's what I'm going to back it at, Ross. We're going to back Midar for the charity. We're going to have 50 quid win on that. And happy to be a price. We'll make our own price here. We look back at a 4.5, which is bang on 7-2. She's an improving filly. Now, I know she's won her last 2 starts on the all-weather in Wolverhampton. The most recent one was just 4 days ago. So she carries a £5 penalty here. But I do like the angle that she is an improving filly. And the trip shouldn't be an issue for her. And she's getting good, decent ground there as well. So Midar at 4.5. We'll make our price here. And we should... someone should come in and lay a stop bet.
Okay, so Ross is on the case there, trying to back Midra at 4.5 for Barry and the charity. Nats, let's come to you. How do you see this race panning out?
Yeah, well, I've got a few notes on this.
Go on then. Plenty of time.
Pages and pages.
Midar, yes, we've got the 1 mile 6 in the outings. Winner of the last 2. One was 1 mile 6, one was 1 mile 4. My question for Midar would be the ground on good to firm. Because, of course, on the all-weather, it's going to be softer than good to firm, if that makes any sense. I also really like Gulwar. Obviously, I liked Mascasella in the first. I got the winner there. So basically, I just want to back winners all day because that's like my favourite thing.
You should have done that Balding multiple.
Really
It's
competitive.
right there on the table for you.
Listen, maybe.
Maybe you have.
This is true. Maybe I have.
A few betting slips down here, actually.
You're allowed to say if you are. It's okay.
No, what I loved about
You don't have to
Gulwar-
time it.
No, I haven't. But what I loved about Gulwar is her attitude last time and properly battled. I love that.
Yeah, I mean,
Love
David Probert rode her, didn't he, at
Yeah.
Kempton? I saw her win. I called the race she won first time out this year. She was a massive price that day. Totally unfancy. Bit of Gosden horse, I think, that was favourite. And she really looked good that day. Then she finished 4th next time. Then she won another good race at Ascot, didn't she, Ross, when she just got beaten?
By just ahead, yeah.
I mean, Bayside Boy hurt, but that hurt more. That was my nap of the day, and I thought, here she comes. She's got this race absolutely sewn up.
I tipped her up that day, which is why she got beat.
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
Oh.
well,
Apologies.
If I really fancy one, I'll message you and just see that you haven't put it up.
She'll win today.
But she went. I think she must have gone 101 or 102 because she looked all over the winner and then got beaten. A really tight photo. She's a lovely horse, yeah. Like I said, I think that Manobo run was huge. She was wide. She was never in a particularly good position. She was a huge eye catcher, carrying a penalty as well. So the only slight concern I had was the extra distance. Now she's not very big, and she showed quite a bit of turn of foot at Kempton. I thought over in that small field, and I went through the pedigree and I struggled to find anything over 1.5 miles really for her. Now I'm questioning the decision of the Balding team to step her up is lunacy, given how well they're doing this season. But I was just a little bit worried.
Well, no, it's a good point.
Yeah.
It is actually. I think honestly, I think it's her attitude. She's seriously tenacious, isn't she? Like, it's like she obviously wants it. I mean,
She's by Australia, so obviously there is plenty of stamina in there, but it was just...
No, it's a good point there, Ross. I mean, we can't really ignore Eileen Dover as well, because I was there at Haydock and really loved the Pam Sly horse. And I was like, so excited. And then I can't really tell you what's happened the last twice. I just don't really know.
Is the ground an issue for her potentially? Is it?
Yeah.
It's strange that they keep running her. They ran her twice on fast ground last couple of starts. They're running on fast ground again here today. It is a bit strange, like you said, Barry. I mean, she was sluicing up through through terrible ground in the midwinter, wasn't she? So
yeah, and Barry, like you said,
I'd like to see her run well here because the filly that beat her out of sight in the Aphrodite Golden Pass, I thought that'd go well later on. So that would do no harm to the form if Eileen Dover was to run well here. But
I think
thought the ground was a bang against her.
yeah.
I totally agree. Like when she was second at Haydock to Yes, who was a good horse, that was Haydock soft.
Yeah, proper Haydock soft.
Haydock
yeah,
soft.
Yeah.
So I think this. I'm.
She hasn't been disgraced on fast ground.
No, but I
and
still wonder
Oriental
why
Mystique.
she's running in. I don't know.
Yeah, the horse who finished one place ahead of her behind Golden Pass won a listed race in France. So the form is good. I thought the 3-year-olds have dominated. There's not been many run-ins at this race, but they've won 4 out of the 5 that have been. And I was a little bit interested in Quenelle d'Or because of race tactics. This is it's Newmarket, so you can get loose on the lead. I think Georgia Dobie's excellent when doing that. She's riding a filly for an incredibly informed yard in the shape of Hugo Palmer. And this horse is on paper. Now, this always happens every time you say, only confirmed front runner or there's no pace in the race. It never works out that way. But she looks to be the obvious pace angle to this race. She's proven she just about stays this with the length beating behind Golden Bugle. She won her first handicap on fast ground, and she's running some really good horses since. So, that third here to Saida with Frank Litton behind, I think that's rock solid form. But yard form, good jockey booking taking off 5, and if she does get the lead, she'll definitely trade shorter, so she could be good back to lay as well. But I thought Quenelle d'Or could get a lovely time out in front and maybe boss
Feather weight as well, as you say, isn't it? Georgia.
And if you owned her or trained her, you'd absolutely have a go at this trip. You would.
Yeah. I mean, she stayed just about this trip beforehand behind Golden Bugle, and on a line through Golden Bugle, Gouloir does have the beating of her, but it's not always that simple. Otherwise, we wouldn't want to be here, would we?
We would.
You just press form, Frank, and then you just do it.
What about the 2 at double figure odds? We'll give them a mention. Single, I've seen run a few times, travels strongly in her races.
Yeah, they're just retacking her for some reason. What they're doing, not whether the saddle's slipped or jockey's off at the moment. I don't know whether the saddle might have just slipped a bit. They just seem to be re-putting that on.
Yeah, she's Rose Dawes. She rode a winner at Lingford, I think, when I was there a couple of Saturdays ago. She's doing all right for Mick Shannon, riding a few winners. Military 2 Step's interesting. Mark Johnston. We know that this horse is going to probably stay quite well, being by Jukebox Jury. Plenty of stamina in there. Luke Morris doesn't have that many rides, does he, for the yard?
No. That was another ground issue for me, though. This horse has shown all its best form on soft ground, bolted up in soft ground a couple of starts ago. And then, we know why Mark Johnston runs them on fast ground, because they just run 10 times a season and then they get a handicap for the right races. So I was unsure that conditions would be ideal for Military 2-Step, albeit another fairly unexposed 3-year-old. But the handicapper, I think, gave it a bit of a walloping for that Chester win, which maybe was slightly harsh given the bare form.
Well, in pictures, everything's okay with single. Tack's back on, jockey's back on, so that's good. But yeah, the Mark Johnson horse, it's going to be tough. But like I said, ground, the stamina's not a problem. 1 over 2 miles, but yeah, I don't think the ground is quite in the favour.
The good thing you were saying about Rose Dawes, she went on Flash Betty the other day, who looked a horse who did not want to win. Yes. And I would say Single has at times looked very similar. So it's potentially a good thing that she can coax a win out of a tricky customer, because she's going to have to.
Single will probably come there. One of those horses that probably trade a bit shorter than she is in the market. But so let's just go to Barry. Barry, final thoughts on the betting. How's it looking just before the off?
Yeah, goal of 4.146, Quenelle d'Or, 4.8 Midard. That's a bit weak. 5.3 Eileen Dover, and the 2 outsiders are getting weaker. Single is 10.5 and 15.5 Military 2-Step. That was out from 10. That's absolutely friendless in the market.
Okay, we'll come to you for an in-running update in this one, because it's a long race. Mile and 6. Last one is in. Who's Ross? You fancy this one or not?
It's a small field over a staying trip. I think it's you, Enzo.
It's me. Okay, here we go. I'll take it. It's just about ready. They're off. Over a mile and 6 furlong for this Fillies Handicap, Class 2, 3-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 6. Now, who's going to make the running? You'd imagine Military 2-Step would be one of those to try and do that. She is in front. She's just staying on her own at the moment. The other 5 are going towards the rails. Of course, there's 1 turn in this race a little bit later on. The other 5 together. Military 2-Step has overall command, though, for Luke Morris. She leads by a couple of lengths to Quenelle d'Or, who's up there in second. Gouloir in third. Eileen Dover, the prolific bumper winner, classy bumper performer, racing in 4th place. Just ahead of Single and Rose Doors, and the early back marker is Midra. Let's bring in the panel. Nats, let's go to you first of all. Early thoughts?
Yeah, happy with Gulwar here. Again, just nice rhythm, nicely got a little bit of cover. Nice settled in. Obviously, they're all at a small field, got to be against this rail. Not as happy with Midar at this stage.
Yeah, Midra. How are we looking? Barry, let's get in running update before we go to Ross. How's the price? Midra's drifted a bit, I think.
Yeah, 7-8 now from Betfair SP of 4.9. But I still think she's travelling well in herself. There's no massive changes other than I leaned overs into 3.65 now, which I can't see how that's happening. But she's your favourite in running at the moment.
Okay, Ross, how do we think things are going so far?
Well, Midra on the Wolverhampton runs made the run in and then got a lovely toe into it the other day. So I think she's probably wondering what on earth's going on because she's not got a great position. But I mean, like I said, I thought Quinelle Dore would get a fairly easy time in front. I've backed her and I've put her in at just under 2-1. So I'm hoping she goes at least that short to get out. But she's having a nice time of it. I don't think Military Two Step's enjoying the
not enjoying life, is she, on the faster ground? Military
No.
Two Step.
yeah, the ground's not for her. So I'm hoping that Quinelle Dore can kick on and give try and test that stamina of Gulwar.
Is it
Gulwar's on the
windy
move.
there, or
Yeah.
am I travel sick? I
Yeah.
can't see the screen very well.
Where the camera position is, it is right out in the elements. Gulwar's made an early move here, though, to come and join Quinelle Dore. So Gulwar, Martin Dwyer has recognised that George Adobe had too much her own way on Quinelle Dore, and they now go at it, these two. So Gulwar, this is going to test the stamina of Gulwar, though, isn't it, Nats?
Yeah, definitely. And Barry was right. I was like, oh, Midra there just looks a bit worrying. But actually going after her now, giving her a little tap with a stick, but she's picking up.
She is. Single's going to come and trade short maybe as well. Here she comes. Right, so let's pick it up then. Quinelle Dore, Midra, Gulwar. Single is coming into it. Eileen Dover's not out of it either towards the inside. Is going well, Eileen Dover. Looks the big threat now as they head down for the final furlong. Eileen Dover from Quinelle Dore and Single. These three. Gulwar next. Midra has not finished off the race at all. Eileen Dover, is she going to get past this game Quinelle Dore? Single is trying to stick at it too, but I think Eileen Dover's just in front. It's deceptive, that angle. And yes, now she's powering away. This useful bumper mare is going to win here, this filly, I should say. Eileen Dover is too good. Single will be placed finishing second again. Quinelle Dore in third. Gulwar maybe didn't stay in fourth. Military Two Step, and then Midra. Ross, what do we think?
I mean, impressive, really. I mean, she's, like I said, we were worried about the ground, but she was obviously a classy animal.
Yeah.
In the bumper sphere, and I mean, for a horse of her profile, there's been a lot of talk about her. She comes from a very interesting family, an interesting breeder, of course, interesting yard as well. So she's taken up a lot of headlines, and she's kind of, shown her true colours there. I was pretty impressed with that. I would say that if you've got a horse, for example, with Gulwar, who is a slightly suspect stayer, challenging 3 furlongs out.
Was it an odd move by Martin Dwyer?
I thought it was a bit of an odd move. I thought, when you were in commentary, you said, we're thinking, Quinelle Dore's got too much rope. But still, it was a long way from home, and I think that's cost her. Quinelle Dore's run perfectly well. We got in, we got out.
And importantly, it was matched at 2 for you, Ross, Quinelle Dore.
Yeah, I think
so. £100 matched
there we
at
go.
2, a low at 2.4.
Yeah, so we did. So I got out. I was in and out. Which
Did Single go short, Barry? I was kicking myself about I didn't put a short lay in for her because she's that. Did she go short at all, Single?
She hit a low of 6.
Oh, not that low.
Small, that's all. Yeah. Obviously,
people are wary of her now that she comes there travelling and doesn't quite go through with it.
It's interesting. Eileen Dover now, obviously, not that great a race, and she's won off a rating of 92, but she's done it well, I suppose. The market found her quite early as well. She was favoured with 6 furlongs to go. She's matched at a high on the exchange of just 11 for £5. But that franks the Aphrodite form somewhat, and we've got Golden Pass coming up now as well.
Yeah, I think that's now 2 horses that have come out of that Golden Pass race, and both have won. Obviously, that's only a handicap compared to a listed race for the other one, but that form does look pretty good, and she's handled the quicker ground as well. So maybe it wasn't the fast ground the last couple of starts; it was just the class angle because they were just better races. So
yeah, I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because sometimes you feel foolish, like reading a lot of the papers and different comments from different punters. There was a lot of hype about Eileen Dover in this. There was, a lot of people found, and I, going through my notes, I was like, but I think because I loved her so much at Haydock, I think I just felt so sort of disappointed the last twice.
Yeah.
But
and it was the Aintree bumper that she was all the rage for, wasn't it? And everyone thought, she's going to win this, and then she didn't quite.
Yeah, so it's just a bit like, I wouldn't say you can be really dogmatic about her. So she's sort of like just been a little bit, I've not always quite known, but I suppose ultimately the longer trip and this handicap debut has clicked into place for her today.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to her now? Do you think, what's Pam Sly going to do with her? I mean, there's probably a big handicap to be won with her, isn't there, on the flat before she goes back to, will she go hurdling? I don't know.
No, I don't think, I'm
doubt
not sure she's
I don't
a
think
very
they
good
wanted.
jumper.
Yeah, I don't think they. Yeah,
Good
I
jump,
don't think
is
they
she?
wanted to.
No, don't think so.
She was just a bumper
I
performer
really
that's always
don't
going to come back to the
think-
flat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously, she's related to some classy flat performers. But yeah, I think they obviously think she's listed class because they've run her twice in listed races to try and get some black type. So I think with that win under her belt, they can now potentially try and find something to.
God, she'd make a nice hurler, though, wouldn't she? If she jumped hurdle, she'd be really good when she's big and powerful.
But,
Have a rethink, Pam Sly. Rethink if you're watching. Eileen Dover, get her over timber. She'd win a nice race over her.
I think that question would have been. I think that's probably the question she's been asked the most in her life.
Yeah,
Is
right.
Eileen Dover going hurdling? So there's probably an FAQ on a website or something with that as a first question and answer.
Okay. Right, well, we'll move on, but it's a good race for Eileen Dover backers, and as Barry said, the market got that right again, didn't they? There was a lot of money for her near the off, Eileen Dover. Good to see Shane Kelly ride a nice win as well on a Saturday. He's not had an easy year, has he? A few falls,
No, he hasn't.
a couple of injuries.
He's a lovely lad,
Yeah,
Shane.
I know,
He's
he
been
is,
a bit-
isn't he?
He has been a bit unlucky, isn't he?
The fall he had at Brighton when the horse broke its leg in front, that was awful. How he bounced back from that. But obviously, Rohan was the high point, wasn't it, in the Wokingham for him?
So he's 21st winner of the year as well, yeah, which is...
Yeah, he's not riding Richard Hughes, is he, anymore? That's kind of fallout there, and they're kind of not together anymore. And
He's just trying to pick up bits and bobs.
David Evans has given him a few. He's just, as you say, just picking up bits, really.
I mean, his last winner was a 100-to-1 shot at Salisbury this week, so he's not getting as many fancied runners. So actually, it's quite good that he's
a good rider as well.
advantage.
Very good hands, settles horses really well.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, that was the 2 o'clock at Newmarket. Next, we're going to step up in class a bit to a Group 3, mile 5 furlongs and 61 yards for the Jeffrey Freya Stakes. Now, this is the class horse today, isn't it? Huckham, who runs in this race. Nats just failed at the highest level. He was a St Ledger fancy, wasn't he, last year? But he won this race last year. I just think this Group 3 races, I think you sort of pick these up all year round if he wants to. He looks the class act. Are you taking him on today? What are you going to do with him?
Well, no, I can't take him on because on this show I've expressed how much I love him. There's probably a Twitter clip somewhere of me going, I love Huckham, I love him.
There is now. That's it. They're going to clip that out. When it's
I love Huckham. No, his last 3 months have just been absolutely excellent, haven't they? 200 and a third. It's just his target. This is his target. And I think that this is going to be a lap of honour for Huckham.
Yeah, it should be, shouldn't it? I mean, Ross, how do you see it? Do you think it's going to be easy for Jim Crowley?
Oh, I hate these races. I hate these middle distance, mid-level, not mid-level because it's obviously not, it's not class 3 or class 4 handicap.
You yawned before you said that as well. I definitely heard it.
I mean, I went through when I was going to, I got to this race and I was like, right, this is the last one I'm looking at because I like the fact, I'm glad that Barry's got a strong selection in this and that you really like Huckham because, to be fair, it's not the same horses in this race that normally race, but it's a real middling. You've got the handicappers stepping up. You've got horses who aren't quite good enough to be on that bigger grade, and tactically they're often really unsatisfying as well. So I'm hoping it's a good race. I'm hoping it really unfolds and changes my mind a bit about it. But I think Huckham should be a short price. I think Golden Pass's form is rock solid. I'm slightly concerned about the tactics at this track a little bit. As it can be quite hard to get home at Newbury. But then there's not many of these that really want to go by either. So
8 to 11, does that appeal to you?
Not really. No. Again, I don't. It's not my kind of bet. My kind of bet is to.
No pleasing him today, is there?
You what?
Ooh.
Look, we can't all love odds-on shots in Group 3s.
No, but your pick is a really good price in this.
Is.
So we want to get an each way. We want it to come second.
I've backed Pablo Escobar every time he runs
viewers.
this season.
Here
Every
he
time
is.
I'm on this show, he's. I think the step up in trip is interesting for him. His full brother, Roberto Escobar, won over mile 6 on his first start earlier this season. So he looks one-paced. I think he is one-paced. Hopefully, I'm just going to straight bat it, play him to finish.
So you're lukewarm on Huckham. We know that Nats loves Huckham.
Yeah.
Should we see what Barry makes of him? Barry, I just thought that Hardwick Stakes run, I mean, I know it was a Group 2, the Hardwick, but the horses that beat him, Broome and Wonderful tonight, it was almost a Group 1 Hardwick, wasn't it, this year?
Yeah, they've obviously franked the form since. They both won Group 1s, haven't they? So you can't really knock it. And on ratings, he's well clear of the rest of them in the field. It's just the price. On the exchange, was matched at a price of 2.14. So around 11 to 10. He's 4 to 5 now. He's 1.80, and he's strong at that as well. He's 1.79 actually now. So he's getting stronger all the time. Golden Pass 8.8, and it's 12.5. Recovery Run, Rodrigo Diaz. He's an interesting one, Rodrigo Diaz, off 96.
I agree.
He's no business being in here, but they want to qualify him for they want to qualify him for the Melbourne Cup because Australian connections bought into him. So whereas they could have exploited that handicap mark, they're hoping for a good run behind Hookham here. But for me, I just like the filly Golden Pass. That Aphrodite run, she just pinned her ears back and she really stuck her neck out. I think Step Up and Trip in by Golden Horn will really help her as well. Again, she's got it all to do on rating. She's rated 102, although she does get £6 off the favourite. But what I'm going to do here, Ross, I was looking at backing her without the favourite potentially, but I don't think I'm going to. What I'm going to do, because she's a front runner and she's the only confirmed front runner in the field, she's going to go off and she'll set steady enough fractions, but I think she could trade shorter than what we can get the backer at now. So if we have 25 quid on her now at 8.8, and put into layer at around 2 to 1 then and take our 25 quid back out, so we'll have a free bet. I just think that could be the sensible play here. I like her, but if she was to run well and trade short, we'll get our stake back and we'd have a bet to nothing.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan, isn't it? She's going to go on Golden Pass, and she might trade a little bit shorter in the run. Yeah. So Ross has done that. Is that all done?
Yeah. I mean, it worked with literally the last race with the Hugo Palmer runner, so it could be...
He's hitting form, isn't he, Hugo? Had a quiet start to the year, didn't he? But now he's doing all right. A few winners here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's having loads of winners. What is it?
He's had a Group 1 winner on Sunday in Ireland.
He did, of course.
River.
Yeah, Ebro River. Yeah, of course
Stakes.
he did. Yeah. And he's 6 from 23 in the past 2 weeks, a 26% strike rate, which, as you said, for a yard who had a fairly quiet start. I mean, it was a proper early season start, as in that they were all travelling there and completely blowing up, and they just clearly needed those runs.
Now they're really running. So as Barry mentioned, Ebro River. How game was he in that race, Barry, on Saturday? Sunday, wasn't he? He was so tough when the other horses came.
He really was, because they've questioned his, not so much his ability, but his attitude sometimes, because he can carry his head a bit funny and he can hang either side. But up the expanse of the Curragh, he's got a good hold of him, and he stuck it out well. He won what looked like a very, very, the top 2-year-old race ran in the UK or Ireland so far this season, and he's won it. He's won it well at the finish.
I think that's the only time I haven't backed him, though. So I think that was the key thing. So
I think I saw him at Doncaster, one of his first or second run when he won. I think I was there that day when he won Ebro River.
It was like a Saturday night meeting.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and he hung that time as well.
He did,
He hung across the track.
I think David gets caked in sweat every time. He's clearly a few sandwiches short of a picnic, but it's a very good picnic.
Nothing wrong with that. In pictures, in the preliminaries, Rodrigo Diaz looks absolutely superb. He's not in shot right now. He was a minute ago. The like you said, Barry's like, at this level, but this 4-year-old by Golden Horn, like obviously my pick is Hookham, but I think Rodrigo Diaz actually might run a good race in this, particularly if I go on my eye. I do think he looks very well indeed.
This Recovery Run. Now, Andrew Balding's had a loser, which should be a headline story, really, shouldn't it? Just now with Gulwar. Can he bounce back with Recovery Run, this Coltman?
Money horse.
I've tipped him up a few times, Barry, on this show, and I've been made to look rather... I think I tipped him at Royal Ascot. He didn't really run a race there, but he's always a horse I thought had ability on last year. What sort of price is he today?
Yeah, he's been well punted, Enzo. He was 16 on the sportsbook when we first went up with it, and I think he almost halved in price. He's been matched at a high of, for 41 quid, 16 on the exchange. He's currently trading at 13. So there has been money for him, all right. Yeah, he's the only 3-year-old in the field, obviously, but he has to improve significantly as well, doesn't he?
He does. What about the Golden Oldie? Old Red Verdon is back from what? He got it right, didn't he, last time out at Sandown in a race where I didn't fancy him, but he won.
It was a cracking ride, I thought. It was a 4-runner race.
Was that Mildenberger was favourite, ran poorly under Frankie.
And the Grand Vizier, and those two basically... It was a 4-runner race, and 2 horses duelled for the vast majority of the race. It was with Holt in there as well, Mildenberger, and they cut each other's throats, and Ryan Moore timed it to perfection on Red Verdon, and I think he was probably a bit flattered because of that. It was a proper pace collapser. Again, the amount of times you look at a big field and you expect a big pace, and you look at a small field and you expect a crawl. It certainly wasn't that. So However, he very rarely runs a bad race at this level. So I don't think he's entirely out of finishing the 4. He might be quite a nice price for finishing the 4, but I do think if you're taking that form last time out, literally, that could be a bit dangerous.
Okay, that's Red Verdant. I'm still liking Recovery Run. I'm kind of talking myself into taking on Huckham here, Barry, but his price is getting shorter, isn't it, if anything?
Yeah, he's getting smashed up. He's 174 now. There's like 440 grand currently matched in the race, Enzo, on the Betfair Exchange, and 361 of it is on him. So over 3/4 of the money match, as you would expect with a short price like that, from 214 into 172 now. So 8 to 11, heading towards 4 to 6, I'd say, on the show.
Okay, should we dip into Social Corner? Let's do that. Paul Bakewell says Rodrigo Diaz is talented, would go close. It was a 2-miler or more. He's a good horse, isn't he? I mean, he's very consistent, Rodrigo Diaz. I'm just not sure he's up to winning a Group 3. Nats, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I don't think he is, but he's, for me, like out the pick, apart from Huckham. I just really liked him in the preliminaries. There's a lot. He is a lovely horse, and there's going to be a decent win with him. I just can't tell you exactly when it's going to be. Do I think he's going to beat Huckham in this? No, I don't. But I wouldn't be... it'd be really pleasing to see him in 2nd or 3rd place, which I do think his ability is capable of that. I suppose it just depends how the race pans out.
Okay. Barry, what do you think about him, Rodrigo Diaz?
Yeah, a lot of people are giving out about the ride Jamie Spencer gave him last day. He traded at 6 to 4 on the exchange. That wasn't a bad race, actually, on the track. As I recall, the horse of Paul Nichols won, whose name just escapes me at the moment. And Withhold was there as well, who kind of...
Scaramanga, Barry.
Scaramanga.
That's the one, yeah. That's the one, yeah. But Withhold kind of upheld the form as well with a decent run in Goodwood, carrying top weight. But like I said, he's a horse that I think they're trying for their life because they want to try to get him qualified for the Melbourne Cup. He's rated 96 now, so he'd need to go up nearly a stone to get into that or to even be considered for it. So I'd say they want to finish as close and they'll be trying for their life. But Jamie Spencer, like I said, they were giving out about him last time on this. Adam Kirby in the plate today. That's an interesting jockey booking.
Yeah, it's an interesting switch, that, I think. I mean, for Spencer rides this horse is always
quite different.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, it really is a switch, isn't
Jamie
it?
Spencer get
Quite
abuse?
different.
Never.
Oh no, I don't think it's just a completely
Different style
of thing. But I think the Rodrigo, Melbourne Cup is one thing, but if I was buying into him, I'd send him over to Dubai because he's all weather form and the way he runs and rides. I think
Not a bad shout.
It'd be very interesting over there.
One more social. We've got one more social, I think. Mally Draycott says, I'm with Golden Pass. Could be more improvement yet. So another Golden Pass vote. You can see the angle, I guess, can't you? She's going to make the running, you would imagine.
Just like I say, it is a bit of a long way home, isn't it, Newbury? That's my only concern.
Okay. Shall I do this one? Long distance?
I'll step in for the smaller,
okay.
the shorter distances.
Okay. Well, I've got a feeling I'm going to do
I won't. Step in.
You not doing any commentaries today? Come on, the great Wilfrid.
Just a 2-horse run a race would be right up my street.
Yeah.
They're the hardest to do. I had one of those. I was telling Ross, I had one of those at Fontwell. 2-run and novice chase, 3 miles.
You're good, no.
One of them fell at the first. I had 3 miles of Henryville going round Fontwell with nothing happening. It's just bizarre.
And that was
make stuff up.
I did all my stats after on the first lap.
And that was before Henryville, had done anything in his career as well. So you didn't even have anything to call upon.
Anyway, let's go. We digress. They're off for the Geoffrey Freya Stakes. Odds-on favourite Huckham breaks in about 3rd place. Marden 5 they're going this time here at Newbury. One of the first to show is Golden Pass. No surprise there. Recovery Run is going to race in 2nd place. And then comes Sleeping Lion, William Buick. Of course, had that gutsy winner a little bit earlier on, is right up there too. Just off them is Huckham at this stage. Jim Crowley is now moving him into 3rd place. He's been followed by Pablo Escobar, who's towards the outside of Red Verdant. Then comes Without a Fight in the back marker, held up Rodrigo Diaz by Adam Kirby. Let's get the thoughts on the panel. Ross, let's go to you first of all. Early thoughts.
Yeah, it's not a mad gallop, is it? Golden Pass has done exactly what we expected Golden Pass to do. But I think it's a very interesting move from Jim Crowley because he's a smart jockey and he's seen this and he's thought this is not going to be run at a good clip. My main market rival is a front runner who's going to get an easy time of it. We're going to stay as close as we can. However, we just saw at Newmarket that can backfire if you get a bit too over eager too early. So you don't want to see Jim Crowley taking Golden Pass on as they turn into the home straight.
Nats,
it's interesting with Adam Kirby there on Rodrigo Diaz. He really told him off a bit, honestly. Really pulled him on the reins. Said, oi, listen, right, come here, get together. He really had to sort of... the
reins was a great communicator, aren't they, for riding horses?
Yeah, come here, listen to me for a minute. And now, obviously, a lot more settled. And, Jim is so stylish, isn't it? It's ridiculous. he obviously knows where he wants to be and trying to read the race. But yeah, they're not
trapping along, are they?
No.
Should we get a market update. Barry, what's happening in the run? Huckham still short?
Yeah, the favourite strengthened to 168 off the back of Jim Crowley making that forward move out of the stalls, just not letting Golden Pass get too soft to lead up front. 6-8 Golden Pass and it's 13 bar, but 1.68 Huckham.
Yeah, he got a bit warm, hasn't he, beforehand, Huckham? But is he over racing a bit in the second? I don't think so. I think he's all right where he is, but I wouldn't.
He's just that type of horse, though, isn't he? He is a horse who travels a bit like that. But you should see how Recovery Run's in a nice position. Again, 3-year-olds have got a good record in this. Of course, Huckham was a 3-year-old last year when winning, so he's in a nice position and. He's got a bit of pace about him. I'm hoping Pablo Escobar just plugs on into the first 4 places. That's all I want. That's all I want from this race.
That's all you want.
Rodrigo's under pressure a little bit at the back of the field. Right, the race is about to really unfold now, isn't it? Here comes Huckham. Jim Crowley yet to really move. Golden Pass now. She gets ridden along by Louis Stewart. She's 2's on, I'm hearing Barry say in the run. Recovery Run's still there with a chance, though, and Without a Fight is moving into it too. Pablo Escobar's come off the bridle. Then Sleeping Lion, Redford and Rodrigo Diaz is beginning to pick up towards the outside. The moment of truth, though, for Huckham. The short price favourite, he goes on for Jim Crowley. Pablo Escobar is running on in behind. Has gone second now. Huckham has a length and a half on him, though. And now Rodrigo Diaz down the outside. Played late by Kirby, but I think Huckham's away and gone here. Entering the final 50 yards. Class will out. Class will tell. Huckham, best horse.
I love it when I get the first and second.
Rodrigo Diaz second. Pablo Escobar was third in the Jeffrey Freya. Plain sailing, though, for Huckham. Good shout. Nats has got the forecast. He ran well, didn't he, Rodrigo Diaz? But Huckham, Barry, no real surprise there. I don't think he would have got much of a big price in running at all, really.
No, he didn't. He had a Betfair SP of 1.85. I think pre-race he traded at a high of 2.14, and he didn't trade higher than that in running Enzo. No big surprises there at all. Nothing threatened, really. The shortest that Golden Pass traded was 6.0, which is 5-1. Not good enough for us to get matched, but Huckham always on it, always tracking the pace, and he's won convincingly, really, hasn't he? He's not entered in anything else at the moment. I don't know where they'll go with him next, but like you said, he's going to mop up all those Group 3s and maybe step up to Group 2.
What
he's
about
just
a race
a
like
bit shy.
the Irish Ledger or something like that? Would that suit him or not?
Well, I mean,
potentially, yeah.
He didn't quite get home at Donny, did he, last year? I mean, he's obviously a year older and a year stronger.
I think he might get the mile and 6 now.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst idea. I mean, you've got to. Barry's right. He will absolutely mop all these Group 2 and Group 3 races up. But it's quite a nice safety net to have them, because you go, well, let's go for a Group 1. Sure, if we don't quite live up to the level, we know we've got a lovely programme throughout the season that we can just consistently win 2 or 3 races. So I think it was a good ride under the circumstances. As you said, the moment of truth for a horse who's a very strong traveller, but he found plenty. And most importantly, Nat got the forecast and Pablo Escobar finished third, so we're all happy.
I think I should go home. I can't tell you how happy these forecasts
very
make
happy
me.
there during that race.
He's run a blinder, hasn't he, Rodrigo Diaz? Look at where he's come from.
He was the bridle then, wasn't he? I thought he wasn't going to pick up, but then he did. He ran a really good race. There's definitely a big pot in him, isn't there, somewhere, Rodrigo Diaz? I
mean, I think Barry, again, in hindsight, Barry, you set it up for a good bet there. Or, they were going to be trying for their life. They are absolutely going to. We're going to show how good this horse is, so we can go over to Australia and give him a proper run for his money. So I'm not saying that the other ones weren't trying by any stretch of the imagination, but he's going to be absolutely primed for this, and he's run his absolute face off as Rodrigo.
They might keep him in training for another year, Huckham, Nats. What do you think? He's 4, still a colt, isn't he? Try and keep him another. He could win the Jeffrey Freya again, couldn't he?
Yeah, why not? I would.
Yeah,
I would. God, tell you what, they're at pasture, they're at stud for a very, very long time. Hopefully, touch wood, and then once they're done. So if it was me, absolutely. Plenty more fun in
He
him.
looks very straightwe'd as well, doesn't he? He just travels, he goes.
He gets
when
hot, but it is quite warm.
Yeah.
But actually, once he goes, he just sort of stays in a really beautiful rhythm. He looks, well, I would have to ask Jim, but I think he looks like an absolute joy. I'd keep him in training, but I'm not the owners.
No, you're not.
Huckham carries top weight to victory in the Jeffrey Freya. For Owen Burrows, nice winner for Owen as well to have on a Saturday. The Group 3 goes to Huckham. As you say, you could just win that race, couldn't you, every year? It's absolutely tailor-made for him, isn't it, in terms of trip, track, class. He's just going to win the Jeffrey Freya as many times as he wants. Yeah, but
there is no back-end Group 1 target really for him. Obvious one, British, is there? If you were to say a mile...
He'd have to go for the Irish Ledger, wouldn't he, imagine, if they wanted to try and get a Group 1?
Yeah.
I think that would be the race. I couldn't see him winning anything... I couldn't see him winning
Which wouldn't be an issue.
Mile and a half wise. what would he go for? There's nothing really Champions Day or anything.
There isn't.
He
No,
wouldn't
there
get the
isn't
2
really
miles,
anything.
would he? So
you've got to go. I mean, it would. If it was any other yard, I would say maybe you might go for a Prix or something like that, and go over for a or a what's the older horse one? Prix a 3-year-old, isn't it?
Foix.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. The basically go over to France. I think is
Look
your
at
option.
him.
You're gonna have to. He's gonna have to go abroad to try and pick up a Group 1 if he wants to. Which is not the craziest idea.
There's plenty of races. I mean, Germany have Group 1s. You can go and win. We saw that.
Obviously Dubai as well, as we're saying. There's options there.
Yeah.
So he's a cracking horse. And it's just that frustrating level. You would really want to see him go and have a crack at the top level. I'd like, there's him and Al-Azi are very sort of similar types, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'd say he's more straightforward than Al-Azi, isn't he? I think Al-Azi's, I wouldn't say difficult, but maybe he has.
He's a
Rogue.
You said that, Barry, not me.
It's a bit difficult, but Barry would say something.
That's not you that made it.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, well done to
They've
Huckham.
gelded him, haven't they?
Al-Azi, yeah, that was the news, wasn't it? They've given him the unkindest cut of all, I think. So
Really good. Yeah, as they say.
we'll see
He
how he
had it
gets
coming,
on.
didn't he? To be fair, he has had it coming.
Yeah, he got beaten in the July Stakes.
He's earned it, bless him.
Wells Stakes, Newmarket. It's grey horse handicap time, isn't it? Almost, and you're going to call this, aren't you, Ross? I understand.
Yeah, why not?
My notes of writing grey down were absolutely pointless, weren't they, on my card? That was just foolish. So what have we got? We've got a team of 10 greys. The favourite is going to be Mitro's on Fire. I think named after, it's Mitrovic, isn't it? The former Fulham striker?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. Mitro's on Fire. I saw this horse win on the all-weather, Barry, but he won the Shergar Cup, didn't he, last week at Ascot? So he's going to be the favourite, I'd imagine.
He's your favourite at 4.0 at the moment. 6-6 Devil's Agent, My Style, 7-2, 9-2 Wentford Falls, 12-5 Bar. I was giving My Style a bit of a chance, but I'm going to take the favourite on. Felt very fortunate to win last weekend and over 6 furlongs. Royal Scimitar should have won a minute, really, if you go back and look at the race. So I know he's only gone up a couple of pounds, but happy to lay him at 4.0 here and take 25 quid at the backer stake, please,
Okay.
Ross.
Ross is on the case.
Yes, we have a liability of about 75 quid, and the rest of the field is winning us 25.
How much are we laying in for, Barry?
But yeah, I just thought he was very.
25.
We're taking 25 quid of the backer stake.
Okie doke.
Mitro's on Fire laid.
He hasn't got a
By
great
Barry.
record at the track either. He's ran there a couple of times. He's disappointed after leading. Like, he'll be up with it.
Yeah.
But Devil's Agent,
Some places,
Devil's
isn't he?
I thought the
Angel had a chance at
yeah, I
My
thought the-
Style.
I think flat tracks might suit him better. I think you might be right. I think the rising ground caught him out, I think, once there, didn't it? Mitro's on Fire. Stefano Kirky, though, taking 3 off. And he's a 3-year-old, I guess, against older horses. But he doesn't look particularly well handicapped. Cahors is the only other 3-year-old in the race. I think the filly for Anthony and William Carson. Let's go to Ross. What's your thoughts on the grey horse handicap? How would you be playing this?
I really like My Style. I've had a little each way.
Previous in
before.
this race, hasn't she?
Yes.
He?
Last
year?
Yeah, I think it's a he, but you've
It's a he. He is a he.
Won it off 72, last year.
Last year. It was last year.
Yeah, and also placed in it the year before. So this is clearly the target every single season. I believe, Barry, that on the sports book there's 4 places as well. So I think a little each way double with Motakaya later on was the angle for me. But also this horse just absolutely this is going to be was always going to be his target. He was beaten by the Jed O'Keefe from the Devil's Angel last time out. But if you watch that race back, I got the feeling that they had this race in the back of their mind for My Style. Devil's Angel took up the running. George Adobe said, "Okay, right, let's get going." And My Style went past 3 horses in the blink of an eye to finish 4th. Everything just looks in favour. Won it off 72, then followed up off 76 last year, so 74 looks spot on. Record at Newmarket, Rolling Mile and July tracks are 3rd, 1st, 2nd and 4th. So in contrast to Mitro's on Fire, this is very much a horse who loves the track. And yeah, I thought everything was going to be spot on. My only concern was that the best horses are drawn low, but the potential pace is drawn high, unless Mitro's on Fire reverts to front-running tactics. You got Case Key and Cahors on the other side, but Barry, like you said, Mitro's on Fire has made the run in the past, but they changed tactics completely last time, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but I thought Case Keys could be the one where the pace angle is here.
He loves this race, doesn't he, old Case Key?
For Luke Morris. Yeah, I thought he'll definitely be up there, but I thought Mitro's on Fire as well, just by virtue of the way he's ran at the track the last couple of times. They did try to hold him up once, but he was off in front the last time, but the previous time they tried to hold him up and it didn't work either. So be interesting what their tactics are. Either way, I'd be taking him on. He's shortening as well. He's 3.85 into 11-4 now.
I think it's quite tough as well for a horse like this. This probably wasn't the target. They've gone to Ascot and they've won and gone, well, we might as well go there next week. Whereas you get the feeling half this field, if not 90% of this
This
field,
is their derby, isn't it?
it's their race. Yeah.
Like
George
My
Bowen looks
Style,
well handicapped.
Case Key.
Yeah, exactly. My Style, Case Key. Loads of horses who've come in this with clearly this is as their target, whereas Mitchell's on Fire hasn't necessarily.
George Bowen won it 6 years ago as a 3-year-old.
He did. Yeah. And you know what, Barry? He's never been back to the July track since, which baffled me.
Yeah.
Of all the races he could have run in, he's
I guess it's quite a small pool, isn't it, Nats? How many sort of horses with this rating?
Yeah.
Are going to be able to, you've probably only got a pool of about 25 horses.
Yeah, it wouldn't. I quite like it. It's
been going a while now,
It's
hasn't it?
definitely not fair to say it's a bit of fun because it's a proper race. I don't mean it like that, but I mean it's a nice thing to have on. And also, so my pick is My Style, but I don't want to add anything to that because Ross has said absolutely everything about the horse, so I have nothing else to add except. Do you know what? Isn't it amazing how many different shades of grey you can have? You can have a
Mitrose is
steel
quite dark,
grey,
isn't he? Yeah.
a dapple grey. You can have a flea-bitten grey. Tell you, and they're not born grey. They go grey.
And they get
Horses
lighter.
They do. They get lighter as they
They
get
end up
older.
almost white.
That is correct. So My Style.
Going grey. I don't know what's that.
nor me. I'm going so grey. But My Style is my pick. But I did want to mention Brian the Snail. Little bit heart over head because I remember when Robin O'Brien for Fahy brought Brian the Snail. It was at Ponty. I don't know if you were there on his debut, and I loved it. And I remember saying to Robin, I was like, oh, and Robin was like, oh, he's great, and he's an absolute massive thing. He's a
horse, isn't he?
huge, powerful, big backside on him. I don't think Brian the Snail's going to win this. I just thought Brian the Snail might be a good one to hit the frame. I need to check the price. What's the price on Brian the Snail? Where are we?
15.5 to win. So what are we looking at?
He's 2-1 to finish in the 4. So
Okay, so Brian the Snail to hit the frame, My Style to win. That's me.
Mally's with you. Look, Mally Draycott reading the same notes as you, Nats. Each way on Brian the Snail for Mally. Joe Holden as well. She's got a snail emoji, so there we go.
I need glasses.
Yeah, I think it's a snail anyway.
I look like an owl.
I mean, I think it's an interesting decision for him to be here because the best figure I've got for him in the past 12 months was in the Great St Wilfrid. So, they could have gone for either of those two races today.
Dangerously
They decided to go
handicapped,
for this
isn't
instead.
he? Brian.
Yeah, he's a likeable horse, as you say. He's got a lot of followers. Wentworth Falls. He's another horse who's been around for a long time, isn't he? 9-year-old. Yeah. Ben Curtis won the first race, I think, today. He's looking for a double.
You were talking about single, in terms of in-running players having horses.
Falls has duped a few, has he, down the years?
I think he's duped a lot. I mean, he's duped me. The one time I did lay him was the one time he won. So I was like, I'm just going to play it simple with this race. Wentworth Falls always trades fairly short and never wins, and he went and bolted up and then reverted back. So I consistently remind myself I am not a layer. I am a backer. And horses like Wentworth Falls come back and remind me time after time. But yeah, he's got all the talent in the world, but he's 9 years old and he is a horse who flatters to deceive more than...
Devil's Angel is another one that I thought could run a good race. Just for viewers that might know plenty or might not know plenty, most Dark Angels are grey. The offspring are grey. See the odd bay, but they're mainly grey. And I actually thought Devil's Angel still improving. Course and distance winner last time. Jed O'Keefe knows the time of day. Megan on board.
Yep. Second favourite now, I think, Devil's Angel.
Yeah, definitely didn't think was without a good chance. So.
What's up to Grey Galleon, Nats, at the
I'm not
start?
sure. Is it
right?
No, there's a farrier there. So whether we're just replating him on his near 4, it looks like. So whether the shoe is splayed a little bit. Well, I should really call it the plate, shouldn't I, technically, for racing. So the farrier is there, just popping that plate back on or making some amendments. Wouldn't concern me too much, but if it was a red-hot favourite, it always bothers me because at the end of the day, a shoe's coming off, it's got to go back on. Horses are ridiculously sensitive, but the farrier's done a very quick job and looks like he's all done and dusted.
Okay, so hopefully Grey Galleon will be okay. Barry, just get a market update. More money for Mitrose at the moment. How's that looking?
Yeah, 3.65, 6.8 Devil's Angel, 7.4 My Style, at 9 Wentworth Falls, Casey Key out to 18.5. George Bowen 14.5. Enzo, just a quick question to you. When you're commentating on a race ordinarily, and there's a grey in it, is your eye drawn to the grey or to the colour or to the silks, the jockey silks?
More the horse colour, Barry. If there's only one grey in a race, especially, it just sort of stands out. Yeah, it's easy to pick that one out. Sometimes you'd have 2 or 3 in a race quite often, so obviously you've got to you've got to check out the jockey colours. But this race is interesting though, isn't it? The different shades of grey. It'll probably be something I'll be noting down here. If I was calling this race on the track, I'd definitely be writing down
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, dark grey, steel grey, sorts of things.
But it's interesting you say that they go lighter, don't they? Because look at George Bowen and Case Key. George Bowen's what, 8, 9 years old now. He's practically white, isn't he?
Yeah, and just sorry to
There's
our
one
viewers.
there looks like a bay.
I said done and dusted, didn't I, with that horse? But the farrier's back.
Yeah, he's still got
his near 4. So
that near 4 up.
Looks like now the rasp is out, so the filing. So they are obviously replating that shoe. So sorry about that.
The 3-year-old Cahors looks completely different to them, doesn't he? To the rest of them, his colour.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for Mitros on Fire to see if the 2 3-year-olds are considerably darker than the others.
Cahors, she's a bit darker. There's Mitra on the right there.
Yeah, they're steel greys.
Yeah, they are. Yeah,
very lovely steel greys.
Good crowd there as well at Newmarket today for the.
It looks beautiful, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that is.
There a band on after racing?
Don't know. Maybe.
Probably. Was it?
Ollie's at Newbury, isn't he, today? That's the big attraction, apparently.
Yeah. Ollie Mers, yeah. He's running in the Hungerford, as we said earlier.
That was a great deflection. Barry, we've got no idea.
Yeah. Maybe they're just...
They don't normally it's a Friday night thing, isn't it, Newmarket? Have the
I think so.
Artistes and then...
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need much of an excuse to go to the July course.
No, it's great. It is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
When the sun shines, it's lovely.
It's a lovely track. A lovely track.
Yeah.
My Style, 6-1 then to win it again. We've got, as you say, previous winners in this, haven't we? Case Key, My Style, George Bowen, horses that come back for this race. And they're getting through the loading now, so it looks like... Is he okay, Greg Gallion? I think he is now, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's another one who's...
Good money for Wentworth Falls into 8-8 now. Had been 12.5 at one stage. So with Ben Curtis, that's real positive.
We could have Wentworth Falls versus Grey Galleon. Which of those two will flatter to deceive the most?
Quick social corner, Iron Smiler, Wentworth Falls. We'll hopefully pick these up with a late rattle. Keep a hold of him until half a furlong out. Benny Boy.
Yeah.
Benny Boy being Ben Curtis. Hold on to him.
I think half a yard out is better than...
Too early, isn't it? Half a furlong out.
Yeah, absolutely. He's gone too soon.
He's going to be one of the last in, I think. Old Wentworth Falls. And the other one is the lovable Brian the Snail. Over to you, Ross, to call the Grey Horse Handicap.
Just seeing the way that flag was going, it might well be a bit of a crosswind.
I saw that.
Yeah, and given where Eileen Dover was, it could be a bit of cover might help, actually. They're often racing. Slowest the way was George Bowen, and Devil's Angel also not particularly speedy out of the boxes, but crossing over to this near side rail is Case Key, who takes it up, followed by My Style, Mitros on Fire. Down the centre we have Brian the Snail with Jack Star, who's racing a bit keenly. Cahors, Grey Galleon doesn't have any cover as well, and is not particularly enjoying that track position. Behind those we've got Wentworth Falls, and Devil's Angel has switched from this side, the near side rail, to the far side, but currently it's Case Key and Jack Star who are duelling out in front. It's not an insane gallop by any stretch of the imagination. Mitros on Fire is travelling very well. Wentworth Falls, as he tends to do, is also, and Grey Galleon again. They are both strong travellers that don't often find a lot. Devil's Angel down the far side, and here comes My Style down the near side as well, picking up far George Adobe. But in front it is Case Key. Mitros on Fire now looking to follow up that Ascot win. Mitros on Fire, Case Key, Grey Galleon, My Style down the near side, Wentworth Falls and Devil's Angel over on the far. Mitros on Fire is yet to win at this track, but is pulling out all the stops. Grey Galleon, here comes Wentworth Falls. Hold on to it to the last furlong, said our email, and Mitros on Fire from Wentworth Falls, and Mitros on Fire, I think, has pulled out enough to beat Wentworth Falls.
What a race.
Second place. And I didn't see what finished third. It might well have been Grey Galleon, looking at how they finished, but we'll wait for
it. Was the grey one.
The grey was third,
one.
yeah.
It was the grey one, yeah.
Mitros on Fire backs up that Ascot Shergar Cup success from last week. Grey Galleon was third. Second, Wentworth Falls. He's done it again, isn't he? Came there, looked the winner, and couldn't quite get past the 3-year-old. Fourth place, My Style. Fifth, I think, Devil's Angel. Sixth, Case Key. Cahors was seventh. And eighth, George Bowen is how they finished. But Mitros on Fire, he's just in the form of his life, isn't he? And this training combination of William Muir and Chris Grassick doing very well. Sadly, no pile driver this week.
I know. It's
twice now he's missed out pile driver.
That's what I've actually written.
I've
written shame about pile driver.
Well, I can't confirm you've written shame pile driver.
Yeah, because it was just it's just never nice to see. But I look. I don't know how many, well done whoever's backed the winner, but unplaced all 3 starts at Newmarket. It really put me off.
I think he's progressed. I think he's improved since those days. I mean, he looks a really progressive sprinter here, doesn't he? On this episode, he's carrying quite a bit of weight there as well, isn't he, for a 3-year-old?
He's smart.
I think it's the switching, because bearing in mind, the times when he's been beaten, if his in-running comments, Imperial Yellow, disputed leads toward far side, Newmarket before that, race near side, disputed leads. So
holding him up a bit is better, isn't it?
I think so, because Barry said they tried it a couple of times and it didn't work. But then at Ascot last week, he travelled really well and he didn't win by far, but he at least went through with it.
It looks like he rolls his sleeves up as well now, doesn't he? When a horse comes to him, he's like, "Come on, I'll take you on." He's got a bit of resolve, hasn't he?
The horse that was coming at him was Wentworth
Wentworth
Falls
Falls,
and Grey Galleon. So the second and third are hard to win with.
Grey Galleon, that is one to actually say out that race, ran a good race because it pulled like a train. It looked wild. Poor Jack Mitchell, it looked wild to begin with. So actually, it would have used up a lot of energy. So it actually finished all right.
Yeah, but again, so it's got a Betfair SP of 13. It's traded 4.2. Wentworth Falls has got an SP of 9.3. It's travelled 2.38. I mean, Barry will probably have these at his hand, but I reckon those 2 horses would trade 50% of their SP every single run because they're just that type of horse.
Fair enough.
We'll bring Barry in. Barry, I mean, first of all, the market got that right, didn't they? A lot of money for the winner. Did Wentworth Falls dupe anybody there to back him at short prices?
Yeah, low at 2.38 for 128 quid. That was the shortest he got. Grey Galleon is another one that's traded short, 4.2. Roger Teal's horse. That's as short as that got. But and the winners done it comfortably, really, hasn't he?
Yeah, and the market kind of spoke in his favour, didn't it? When you see him short, and he was 4.0 into about 3.6, I think, wasn't he?
Yeah, 11-4. He finished up. His Betfair SP at the finish was 3.67, so just a little under 11-4. What he's rated 85. You get a couple of pounds for that, I'm sure.
Yeah, he'll go up again, but he's in great form at the moment. He could well complete the hat trick, couldn't he? Mitro.
What about his jockey? I don't know much about
Stefano
him.
Kirky. We've got lots of young, very good Italian riders, haven't we, at the moment? Obviously, Marco Ghiani, leading apprentice this year. But, I mean, he's talented. I think he's moved to Amy Murphy, isn't he, Stefano? He was... Yes, he has. He was somewhere else. He's gone to Amy Murphy to ride now. So he rides a lot of her horses based in the Hamilton Road at Newmarket. So
I don't know a lot about him.
He's moved to Newmarket, Barry. And he's talented, isn't he?
He settles with Marco Botti, wasn't he? Obviously,
yeah. And he's sort of moved on now.
Yeah. But he is very good. I mean, he actually got a fairly good strike rate at the track as well. It's his 4th winner from I think only sort of 14 rides. So, and he's had a good season. Yeah. He's 21. That's his 22nd win from 161 rides. So for a jockey of his standing, operating at a 13-14% strike rate, I think is fantastic, really. And
most importantly, he said to me, it's Kirky, it's pronounced. He gave me the full Italian version, so I've got to get that right whenever I call it. Not churchy. Just Kirky. Kirky. Stefano. Very good ride. Very good performance. The in-form sprinter wins the Grey Horse Handicap and who's well back to do so. Our next race is going to be the handicap at Newbury, isn't it? 255. Jack's Point doesn't go in that. Might get an early look at the market, shall we? Barry, I was looking at this race this morning. They couldn't split Agile and Aratus. How does it look at the moment?
Yeah, Aratus was favoured when we first went up in the race on the sports book. It was 5-2, and he was backed into 2-1. But it's each of 2 now. Argyle and Aratus, 3.65, 5-3 Sunset Bay, and it's 10 bar at the moment. For our exchange play here, Ross, I'm going to back Sunset Bay, Holly Doyle's horse. She's a consistent start to the season off 79. She got £9 for winning in Sandown over 7 furlongs on Good to Firm. It turned into a bit of a sprint. And she won 4 lengths, not up to much, but she's definitely on the up. And I just thought she gets the 3-year-old allowance as well. 89 looks eminently doable for her. So we're going to have 25 quid on her at 5.3 Sunset Bay. It was a race I thought was really, really tricky, if the truth be told. I didn't have a strong opinion in it, but just for the sake of showcasing the functionality of the exchange, it's 25 quid Sunset Bay and price taker.
Okay.
Job done. Match.
Job done. There we go. Yeah, I was at Sandown that day that she won, Ross, and did it quite well. Sheen, I think, rode her that day. Gave her a lovely, confident ride. She picked up well. She's an improving 3-year-old for Ed Walker.
Very much so. She should be 3 from 3, really. And you'll guess which time I'm back to. But she came from God knows where at Salisbury to finish behind Trixie Waterbury a few starts ago. Before that, she'd run in a really good race at York where she was down the wrong side of the track. So she's been consistent all season, and she's got a lovely turn of foot. And the handicap has given her a bit of a wallop last time out, but I think it's a deserved wallop. The race before that has thrown up plenty of winners as well. Yeah, I think she's going the right way. My worry for her in this race, which was a worry for a lot of them, was that the only confirmed front runner is now an own runner in the shape of Jack's Point. There's nothing that's necessarily obviously going to get on with things. The one who does race quite prominently and is a bit keen and I thought could be interesting against Sunset Bay was Ajal, who, on the face of it, has been a bit disappointing the last couple of starts. But, I mean, we're going to see next week. York is a. I was speaking to someone the other day and they were saying you either have your best day ever at York, or you come away thinking, how on earth have I backed 7 horses and they've all finished last? So it is a track where it's a proper love-hate track, and Ajal did not enjoy it at all on those 2 starts. First start, it was soft ground, it was slowly away, looked a little bit rusty. It was just didn't go to plan behind Volatile Analyst. Last time out, too keen over a mile. A furlong from home, hits the front, looks like it was going to get involved, doesn't get home behind La Trinidad. But Tom Marquand back in the saddle, and he gave this a horse an absolute peach of a ride at the back end of last season when taking the bull by the horns and kicking on a long way from home. And I think Ajal, hopefully, given how fresh this horse is and the fact that he's dropping back in trip and Tom Marquand is on the in the saddle again, I'm hoping Ajal goes out there and says, well, because there's a few... Aratus is very keen. Sunset Bay needs a gallop. Magical Wish needs a gallop. Diocles of Rome needs a gallop. So I'm hoping that Ajal gets nicely settled in front and kicks on and does the business at another track that isn't York. Because, like I said, it is... Oh, I love the Naesmire, but I also hate it.
Love, hate.
Yeah.
It's
At the same time.
It is tricky on this with just the 7 runners. I was going to be a bit... Oh, what's the polite word? Bolshy, in case I say something that I probably shouldn't say. On Starsheba in this, I'll just make my case a little bit, because ran for a massive pot at Ascot last time in the International. But he just looked a right handful in the early stages. And I don't mean this in a horrible way, but just more under a more unexperienced jockey in Johnny Pete. I thought with Red Hot David Egan on board, I just had a feeling that actually David and Starsheba will actually get on quite well, because David is good with these types of horses. Already got place form behind Royal Ascot winner Perotto. I just think Starsheba still looks an attractive mark of 85.
That Perotto film looks great.
Yeah.
Really,
And the thing with Starsheba as well is what you've got to remember is, yes, was a handful in the early stages, but actually on raw ability and natural talent, that horse has all of that. Absolutely has natural talent.
And I think you can excuse his last 2 runs. One was over a mile behind Johan, where they went a steady gallop, and again,
Sorry.
And last time out, like you said, it also duelled with Lord Rapscallion for the run-in under a £7 claimer off the rail. It's a very good form. It's almost a benefit that it's almost a positive that it was only beaten 5.5 lengths.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And it's like, when you look at all the boxes to tick, another thing is the straight 7 furlongs in my head looks ideal.
Yeah.
So a lot of... I'm taking a bit of a gamble, but I'm in on Starsheba.
Starsheba, yeah, likeable horse, isn't he? David Egan and David Ells, Jeff Smith, colours on that one. Sunset Bay, third in the market. Aratus, I think just about favourite still over Ajal for William Haggis and Tom Marquand. Big week, of course, for William Haggis with York coming up. Silver Samurai, Magical Wish and Diocles of Rome is the outsider of the 7 that run here. Aratus, though, we're thinking he... Go on.
No, sorry, come on.
I've just seen Clive Cox appeared. I mean, if there's a really high-class horse in this race, is it Aratus? Is he going to be the one who could improve into maybe a pattern performer?
I think so. It wouldn't surprise me, to see him run a big race, even if he doesn't win, because he's clearly got a ton of ability. He's clearly got an engine. He was thrashing his head around.
Might need to pull a bit less.
A bit, yeah. You would hope...
Stop wasting your energy, you silly horse.
Well, you'd hope that with that run under his belt, it would get the fizz out of him, but you don't quite know. And like I said, I'm not exactly expecting a breakneck gallop, but, I mean, the form from this track last year is absolutely bomb-proof. Udalali, of course, won at Goodwood, is now rated 3 figures. Behind that was Mithras, who's now rated high 90s as well. The second, third, fifth, and sixth all won at Kempton. Ilzai in the second's a rock solid late 80s handicapper. So the form is absolutely bomb-proof. And to pull that hard at Doncaster and win by 7.5 lengths, it beat Trees, admittedly, and the main market rival fluffed the start and looked clueless as well. So
His 2-year-old form's really good.
it is really good. Yeah, you're right, Enzo. He could be the quality animal here. I was just a bit worried about the lack of pace for him because I think he will be a real top-class performer in a big field with a strong gallop over this trip.
Which he's not going to get here, is he? This small, muddling field. You don't want to be on the flank either, I don't think, when they were in that sort of one group in the centre. Should we bring Barry in, see if any more market updates? Barry, how's it looking at the moment?
Yeah, your favourite still, Arjal at 3.5538 Aratus. The Sheba is one that's come in for a little bit of support. Was 11, is into 10, just small. 5-1 Sunset Bay. Sunset Bay very strong around that mark, but it's quite a mature market, and there's no real movement in it. Just the top two at the head of the betting, pretty steady at that.
One of those races I'd probably be passing. Of course, you don't have to have a bet in every race. It's all about responsible gambling. It's one of those races I'd probably just let pass me by. I think it's hard to really get an angle at the price. I think the prices are about right. I think Aratus is the best horse in the race potentially, but it might not pan out his way. Should we bring the socials in? Let's dip into Social Corner once again. Mally, who's been a regular contributor today to the show, Agile for this. Didn't get the mile last time. Would you go along with that, Ross?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just ran out of gas. William Haggas won this a couple of times as well recently. In fact, he's had 3 runners in this, 2 winners and a second in the past 10 years. He won it with Squats, who used to run in all those Buckingham Palaces, those Victoria Cups. That you get the feeling the likes of Aratus and Agile are probably going to end up turning up in over the next 12 months. Clearly didn't get home.
Okay.
It's Agile City as well, by the looks of it. On Social Corner.
Darren Walker's joined us. Good afternoon to you, Darren. Agile, my nap of the day, 4-1 last night. He managed to snaffle. Expected to win. He's got the price there, isn't he? We've got one more, I think, to come. Ah, look at that.
Yeah, everyone's...
From Jesus, Agile bolts up in this race.
I during the Goodwood show, I was calling him Jesus as well, and people were like, "Why are you calling him Jesus?" But it's statistically, it's more likely, isn't it?
Probably. So Agile, very popular on Social Corner. What's our final play going to be? Nats, how would you be playing this race if I gave you a free wager on it? What would you go with?
God.
Is that a tough question?
Starship. I thought you were...
I am.
I expected you to come out Starship.
Yes,
Yeah, I know, because I'm getting sweaty. I like to win, so I have to think. I'm really...
We all like to win now.
I see what you're saying. So you'd like Starship to win, but as a betting...
I'm just really
prospect, maybe not.
competitive, so I just want to... No, I'm going to stick with my guns with Starsheba. There's a few things falling into place. I'm not going to switch now.
Look, and Nat doesn't want that free bet you're offering, but I'll have it. I'll take it.
Okay, you can have it then. What would you put it on?
I'll put it on Agile. Yeah, I'm with
Everyone else.
Jesus. Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Jesus
hoping
and the team.
Yeah, I'm all aboard. I'm all aboard Jesus. Admittedly,
Okay.
I don't think he's. I'm not seeing him tip a winner yet. So come on, Jesus.
Come on.
I'm with Jesus.
No, we're doing all right today, actually. Oh.
Yeah. Who wants? Should I?
Do you want this one or do you want me to do this one?
It's up to you. Your call, mate. Well, not your call. It might be your call. Is it
Well,
your call?
I'll do it. Small field, I'll do it on this one. You save yourself a Ripon. You've got 2 very big fields.
It's true. That is
I know, we haven't even
Consolation
touched
sprint.
upon Ripon yet.
We'll be at Ripon very soon. Lovely part of the world. But we're almost set here, aren't we? Waiting for Agile to go in, Tom Marquand, and Sunset Bay, Holly Doyle.
Yeah, Agile is just...
He's just drifting out a bit, and I wonder
He's
whether
having he's being a little bit rude. But he'll be all right. He'll be all right going.
There's a potential for Agile in running here to either halve in price after a furlong or double in price.
Double if he pulls.
It looks like the blindfold might be going on, Agile, which is just to viewers, if anyone wants to know, it's just keep them a bit calmer. Obviously, they won't be able to see with it on, but he doesn't look like he likes that because he's actually now backing up. So it either works or it doesn't, but he's walking quite calmly now, so I'm sure they'll get him in. No worries.
Here he comes. Come on, Agile.
You have to put a blindfold on me to get me into the studio as well. I am. I get it.
Starter, she wants them to be ready for her. Making a check the last one is in. Agile, here we go for the handicap over 7. The handler away, we're set. Oh no.
Oh my God, what's happened?
Oh, they are off.
Press rewind.
Yep, someone was on the Anyway, they're racing. Magical Wish got out ahead of Diocles of Rome. Agyal, he's a bit
very
keen.
keen.
Send him on. He wants
Yeah,
to go on.
got to let him go now
on.
because the energy he's going to use up now. Look how high his action is. Well, he's popping. He's like
Climbing a bit there, isn't he? Starsheba's alongside him. And then behind those is Aratus, who's settled a bit better. Not much pace on it would seem. Although without seeing the sectionals, Sunset Bay, with 12.46 furlong. Towards the back of the field, we have Silver Samurai. Ross, what are we thinking early doors? Agyal, a bit too keen, a bit too fresh?
I mean, given how hard Aratus pulled last time out, he's looking at Agyal going, what are you doing, mate? That is, like I said, he's either going to halve or double in price, and he's doubled. I think Starsheba's probably got the nicest posse.
Defo.
Maybe a little bit fresh. Aratus has settled a lot better.
Yep. Aratus is going all right, isn't he, in 5th place. They head down then for the final 2.5. And up front, Magical Wish still has a narrow lead. Now being tackled by Starsheba towards the stand side. Also making ground is Aratus, getting a bit closer towards the far side. Magical Wish, Diocles of Rome far side. Tom Marcon producing Agyal towards the far side as well. Agyal is making ground. Near side Aratus. It's the big two either flank. Aratus and Agyal. Aratus, Kirby, Marcon, Agyal. Sunset Bay running on from the back, but it's all Aratus now. He looks quite classy, this Free Eagle colt. He's gone away. Sunset Bay is keeping him honest late on. She's coming home really well for Holly Doyle. Aratus will win a shade cosily for me. From Sunset Bay and Silver Samurai back in 3rd. Get the impression Ross is a bit more in the tank for Aratus.
You would think so. They won this last year with River Nymph, who of course went on to run in those big handicaps. But yeah, he's won that pretty cosily off a mark of 94. So he could easily be a listed and pattern class performer. They might well find a heritage handicap to have a crack at after that. But I mean, helped by the fact that Agyal didn't settle and Aratus got first run on Sunset Bay. They didn't go a particularly strong gallop. I'm a bit disappointed on Marquand. There was no pace. I don't see why he didn't kick Agyal on.
I
you done that?
Can't have this at all because if you're watching the replay, Agyal, he's having to lift his legs so high because he's popping. He's absolutely popping. I would have gone. Yeah. I'd have just sent him on. He's so unhappy there.
He gets to go, doesn't he?
Then he pulled him wide. I honestly think it could have been a slightly different result if he. I mean, look at this now. He's got no chance.
Yeah. What can we do with him? Blink headgear? I don't know. What can we try with him?
No, make him worse.
Yeah.
Light it up even more.
I think just
pieces.
Just made pieces.
I mean, it could well be. He's won. He's won round Haydock, he's won round Wolverhampton, Agyal. So, they're going a good clip round a bend, and that probably helps him settle a little bit better.
He wants a bigger field.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
This is just woof.
He's just got a wide open
Yeah. And he's
no
like
pace to run out. He doesn't know what's going on.
Good point.
But Aratus is, he's settled, and you can the ride given to him by Adam Kirby. He was oozing confidence.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? Let's bring Barry in. Barry, I mean, I guess the winner probably traded quite short throughout, didn't he, Aratus?
Yeah, had a Betfair SP, clear favourite at 3.35. Sunset Bay hit a low at 2.08. Not Holly Doyle's finest moment, I don't think, although the winner did get first run, but she was leaving her plenty to do. Diocles of Rome hit a low of 5 for 55 quid. And that had a Betfair SP of 32. So that's ran well, but yeah, I suppose the winner could go on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, we got some money for the charity.
The right horse.
I think. Yeah, we got Agyal beat in the end. Just pulled too hard. I mean, Agyal, Barry, his price must have just gone through the roof, mustn't it, after half a furlong?
Yeah, well, as Ross highlighted before the race went in play, he had a Betfair SP of 4.1, and he went to around 6.5, just as after going half a furlong. So he called that right.
Yeah. But you're right about Sunset Bay, Barry. I mean, especially when they're going no gallop, held up last at a track like Newbury was asking a lot.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. I thought she didn't seem to be any rush. I think she thought she had the front ones covered, but little over a furlong and a half the race, she's stone cold last. And when she pulls her out, she gets a good response from the filly. Like, she's game. She's gone on about her business, but the winner's got first run. I'd say if she had the race to ride again, she'd be a lot closer to the pace.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. I really do, because look at her. She's not...
I know, because, Sunset Bay has given Aratus, 3 lengths and reduced that deficit to less than the length in the end.
Yeah, that's quite impressive, actually. That's probably the one I'd take out of the race, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think she's going to win next time, Sunset Bay. Maybe with a stronger gallop. She's definitely a horse going the right way. Agyal, we just don't know what to do with him. We're thinking round a bend. Keep him at 7.
Yeah, and he's showing form on the all-weather. It's tough, isn't it? Because when you've got a horse like this at this time of year, you've got the races you're sending him for might not be the races that suit him, but you've got to go for them.
Do you know what he'd run well? Somewhere like Lingfield on the poly track, round a bend, fast pace, produce him wide, pull him to the outside and he'd quicken.
That slingshot manoeuvre. Yeah.
That sort of race where they sort of, just jostle for position down the side.
Or that, it's a different time of year again, isn't it? But there's a really good, the Wolverhampton, just before the start of the flat season, there's a really good meeting there, isn't there, with listed races and a really valuable like Lincoln trial. And you get the feeling that kind of race will suit him because they very rarely dawdle.
Yeah, because you just don't want to see them that keen. No one wants it, like you say, wide open space, straight down the flipping middle, just on the straight, nowhere to go.
Did they not have a plan B, though? Did these jockeys not have a plan B?
Yeah.
If there's no pace on and you're a bit keen, just let them stride on.
Yeah, like Barry, why not? Yeah, like that's exactly what we were saying. Like Barry, it's bizarre. Like, because obviously the way it unfolded and how keen he was, why wouldn't you then just go, well, I may as well just bowl on, because he's clearly very talented. He's got a lovely stride on him.
I guess I can't remember who I was speaking to. It might have been James Millman, or it was someone who was saying that a lot of time, it's different for Tom Marquand, I guess. But if you're a jockey at a slightly lesser station, if someone says go and do this, and you go, well, after a furlong I changed your mind. It's like, well, I've booked you. I'm paying you riding fee. I'm the owner, or I'm giving I'm trainer or whatever. If you're getting instructions,
like he's well known that he doesn't settle, Ross. Like you flagged it as well before the race. So maybe they're trying to teach him to settle.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a bit more an educational piece for him that they specifically told, no, don't. We really need to teach this horse how to settle. Maybe that's the.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the reason, but from a punter's point of view, it's very unsatisfactory.
Yeah. I mean, he's runs this season. He's running a 7-runner field at York, where they didn't go a particularly good gallop either. He's run a mile at York, where they didn't go a massive gallop and he didn't get home. And then there as well, where it's not worked out. Whereas his 3 runs last year were in 11-runner fields twice and 10-runner fields around Haydock and Wolverhampton. So on good ground or on Tapita, sorry. So it's completely different what he has experienced this year. He's got a handicap mark running in 3 types of races, and he's come and tested that handicap mark in 3 completely different types of races. So, I mean, or he might get sold at the end of the season and someone like a Tom Morley or someone might buy him. Given how keen he is, get him in a sprint. Get him going a good clip.
6, drop him down to 6.
Yeah.
Cheap pieces on. There we go. That's the plan. William Haggis, if you're watching, you know what to do. Right, we've got
to us for a cheap and well-running in a sprint. We can whip round we'll give $5,000 for him, yeah?
Yeah.
We'll
he's rated 90. They'll take that. I haven't bought a horse for a few years. I'm pretty sure that's the going rate.
We've got the William Hill Silver Trophy coming up next, haven't we? Which is over 6. It is the consolation race for the great Sir Wilfrid, of course. I think these are good ideas, these races, aren't they, to have the horses that don't get into the big races themselves a chance to win. We've got 4 non-runners here as well, which make Ross's job easier. Giorgio Vasari, Fortimore, John Kirkup, and Airman doesn't go either. We've got quite a warm favourite here, haven't we, Barry? This Gathan Far is going to be hard up against the stand side, I'd imagine, from the high draw here.
Yeah, drawn 20. He's 7.0, so he's a 6-1 chance. 12-5 True Mason, Danzan 11, 10-5 I'm a Dreamer, 12-5 Ventura Express, 13 Flying Pursuit, True Blue Moon. Cooperation, the horse that I like in it, is out to 17.5. He looks really unwanted by the market, but I'm going to stick with him, Ross, and we're going to look back at 6 places, please. Additional places. Yeah, on the sports book here. So you can bet the win, you can bet each way, you can bet the standard 4, 5 or 6 places. We're going to look at him in the 6th place market where he's currently trading around 278. I want to back him at 2-1 though. We'll have 25 quid. We'll be a price maker here and looking back him at 3.0. So we'll set our own odds, 25 quid, 3.0, and we'll leave it up there for someone to come in and match us. Liquidity on a Saturday, there's so much racing. Nearer the time, liquidity in all the place markets and the win market increases as you get nearer to the off time. So I think that'll be the case here. I'm confident we'll get matched at 2-1 in the 6th place market. Cooperation.
Okay, Cooperation then. 6 places for Richard Fahey and Paul Hannigan. Nats, let's bring you in. What do we like in this consolation race for the big race?
Yeah, it's a good one. We alluded to the fact earlier. Ripon is a quite a unique track with its undulations.
You've been there many times, I'm sure.
I've been there loads. I love it. I love the paddocks, gorgeous, all those trees.
Very relaxed feel around there, isn't it? I always find when I go commentating there.
The garden race course, it's known as, isn't it? Is that
You
right?
can't be stressed.
Garden race course.
You've got to be chilled out.
Have I said that right? The garden
Yeah,
race
that's right.
course. Yeah, it is, because it is just so beautiful. But actually, Tiny bit similar to Haydock, especially the babies can be terribly spooky in the paddock because of the trees. You know, they're so close to where they walk, so they can get really spooky. I am all over the Fav, which is a bit boring, I'm afraid, but great for Tracy Waggett to have this horse. Form's been excellent. Plenty to like about the Fav. I thought, I'm just trying to get the price up for, it's gone a bit. I Am a Dreamer has a squeak in this. Pound lower when second in Stewards Cup winner here in June. Has been pretty modest since. The reason I'm having a bit of a squeak is PJ McDonald on board. Again, I do like to look at the jockeys. PJ, wow, is he strong at a finish? Like, you know, when he says let's sail, he's neat, he's tucked in, he's a really powerful jockey, and I like that combination. So I did a little squeak on I'm a Dreamer, but I'm afraid terribly boring. But the favourite, which I find quite difficult to pronounce,
Gathanfar?
Yeah, Gathanfar, I would have said. Gathanfar. Gathanfar. Say it really quickly. Gathanfar.
He's going to bag that near side rails, isn't he? Which I think that's a positive, isn't it? Is that why he's the price he is, though? Is that why would he not be 3 or 4 points bigger if he was drawn 6 or 7 or something?
4 of the last 5 winners of this race were drawn in the highest store near the rail. Last year, Growl was drawn 18 of 20.
Growl.
I know it's a great name, isn't it?
Yeah. Which I'll do it. Gathanfar. I think it doesn't like. So it's in this race in particular, it's a big advantage to be drawn high. But I mean, I don't think it is just that. That York race, of course, he was behind Mr. Wagyu, he was behind Capote's Dream. Though one's won the Stewards Cup, one's gone and won a valuable race at Windsor. Travels really, really well. And has only been once out of the places over this trip in 10 runs. So
yeah, it's pretty impressive, yeah.
If you're looking at a race like this, he is the absolute everything is in Gathanfar's favour. Yeah. He's got pace to chase as well. He's got there's Mythmaker and Bossy Pop who are drawn high, so it should give him something to aim at as well. Far side, there's also pace as well. Flying Pursuit, Danzan out the hat should be fairly prominent as well. So this will test the. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a sign of which side is favoured, but I do think, again, bagging a rail.
Yeah, like Danzan could run quite a good race.
Danzan's coming in, I think. Barry, they're getting closer, aren't they? Gathanfar and Danzan in the top of the betting. Money for Danzan and not money for Gathanfar.
It's not
9-2. Danzan and Gathanfar is 8 to 8.0. Yeah, so 7 to 1 and 8 to 1 respectively. But also, I'm a Dreamer has come in for decent support. Enzo, he's 8 to 1 as well now. 9.2.
Yeah, I do quite fancy I'm a Dreamer, yeah. Not against Gathanfar. Barry, can you say it really quickly? Gathanfar. Faster.
Okay. That's as fast as I go.
That's all the batteries turned up to maximum for Barry.
So there's a couple drawn low that have been back. Flying Pursuit's the other one that's quite strong, isn't it? So we're thinking Flying Pursuit, Danzan over that side.
Yeah.
Gathanfar, Mythmaker. This side.
I think Gathanfar's got everything in favour. I think sort of, it's 1.68 to finish in the 6th, but I think that's, given he never finishes out the frame, I don't think that's a bad price. The other two interested, one is Flying Pursuit, who's got a really good record here, has won on good ground, best form, good to come on soft, but is £1 below its last course winning mark. And the other one that was quite interested is Citron Major, who's got 2 wins in a few places here, one off higher, never won 2 on the bounce. He's kind of a horse who pops up and then disappears, pops up and then disappears. I Am a Dreamer is interesting, but that 12 box, that's a big if. Where are you going to go? Which side? I mean, that's
when we're going to rely on PJ, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's when we've got to rely on PJ.
But he's got a good course record. That second to Comanche Falls, of course, where he's very good.
And PJ, Yorkshire, based in Yorkshire.
Had a win up at Thirsk yesterday. Well, back winner for Charlie Hills, PJ McDonald, for Tuscan. Out the Hat is a horse who disappointed last time, but won his previous 2. He's been the last one in, one of the 3-year-olds. Over to you, Ross Brierley, to call the Silver Trophy.
Regretting
Good luck, Rossi.
Earlier.
Just the 16, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Good luck, Rossi.
Easy, isn't it? Off and racing then over at Ripon for the consolation race for the great St Wilfrid, and as predicted, they're split into 2 groups, and 6 of them go over to the far side. We've got Out the Hat, we've got Cooperation, we've got Citron Major, we've got Danzan, Ventura Express, and also Flying Pursuit, and the rest of them are down this near side, headed by Gathanfar, who does have this near side rail, got a lovely position, and surprisingly is duelling for the lead. Thought it might well be held up behind, but Bossy Pop has not got to the lead. Mythmaker has, but he's drawn off off the rail and doesn't have a particularly good position. Macho Pride is also duelling for it, which means that Bossy Pop has ended up with a lovely position in behind those. Over on the far side, Danzan's covered up, Out the Hat still in front, Flying Pursuit's being ridden along, Ventura Express travelling well, Danzan trying to win his first race. Far Connections on the far side, though, Out the Hat has hit the front. Gathenfar still travelling ominously well down this near side. Trying to make a run down the middle is Troubadour, but it's Gathenfar, Bossy Pop, Mythmaker is in there as well with a little bit of a chance, as is I Am a Dreamer. They're all over the track. Ventura Express, Danzan on the far side, Mark's Choice coming out of the pack as well. Danzan over the far side looking to land a touch, but it's Mark's Choice down this near side. Mark's Choice, who also loves Ripon, has gone on to win cosily. Tight for second, Ventura Express and Danzan over on the far side, but Mark's Choice, a winner for Sam England and Cam Hardy.
Wow.
At least we all mentioned that one.
Horses for courses. He loves it there, doesn't he? Just loves those little undulations. Look at that. He's won it. Very close. Good call for second. Ventura and Danzan placed again. I'm a Dreamer fourth. Fifth, it's close, isn't it? Between
Mason, maybe?
fifth and sixth. Very important, fifth and sixth. True Mason and Troubadour. Gathenfar seventh. So the one day he doesn't finish in the six is the day he said he was a good thing to be in the six.
Absolutely. it's
the way of the world.
Guarantee. Why? I was a little bit confused. They changed tactics on him completely. He had guaranteed pace on the near side.
And he made the running.
And he's made the run and he's got into a speed duel and he's faded. Whereas Mark's Choice has been held up and has come through the pack and
Lovely ride, wasn't it?
done what Gathenfar normally does. But
Yeah,
Cam, big win for Cam, this isn't it? He's been doing okay, isn't he, Cam? From winners here and there, but this is a nice pot to win.
Big striding horse.
It was all. I was really just not watching the far side group after about a couple of furlongs. I kind of thought, well, the winner's going to be stand side, but Danzan's run his race, isn't he? He's admirably consistent, isn't he, Danzan? Although he doesn't win very often.
No, he doesn't win very often. He hasn't won for, 20-something starts. But like you say...
2018.
Yeah, that's a lot. But no, I'm a Dreamer. They're good. Hit the frame, I think. Didn't he hit the frame?
Fourth, was he?
I think it was fourth.
Fourth.
Hoping fourth.
Yeah. Fourth,
Again,
confirmed fourth. Good
Danzan's
shout.
another odd one. It's a long way to go for connections as well, but he's won 3 races. 2 of them have been at Chelmsford, and he's never been back to Chelmsford, which seems strange given how many races they have and how valuable the races are as well. So, but he hit the front there and he ducked and he weaved and
Yeah,
he's finished second again.
Yeah, this is the point where they decided to press on with Gathenfar. I thought they were just going to sort of sit and wait a bit.
I was
but
a bit
Tommy said no
disappointed
comment.
actually with Gathenfar there.
Yeah, he was still travelling, wasn't he? Down to the 2.
If
Behind.
you're taking on Mythmaker and Macho's Pride,
You're going
2
quick.
furlongs from home,
Yeah.
you're going too quick, aren't
Yeah.
you?
Cooperation was on the far side, never gone in. True Blue Moon kind of came off on and off the bridle, never really looked like winning. Troubadour's the one I thought ran well here. This is the horse I'm going to. You will say, I've got to take one from the race. I think he might be. He might have one of these big handicaps in him soon. Because he's running well up at air actually. When they have they have all the different bronzes and silver cups and all sorts, don't they?
Yeah.
September. We down to kind of how many levels of the Gold Cup are there now? That's the 4th division.
Tin.
The
I
tin
think.
cup.
Yeah.
The aluminium cup.
5.
Yeah.
It's a big horse, this. Do you know what the Englands do well, though, was they're a good team. It's very well turned out, this
Former
horse.
Ruth Carr, wasn't it, Mark's Choice? But Troubadour is interesting because he was he's 4 years old, Troubadour, but it feels like a long time ago when he was running every week as a 2-year-old pretty much, and he finished second in the 2-year-old trophy, and you thought, oh, they've got a really nice horse on their hands. He got rated, it's the classic 2-year-old curse, isn't it? You have a fantastic juvenile season, you get rated 101, he's come down to 84 there, and that's his first kind of glimmer, but he runs
First time blinkers.
Sorry, Barry?
First time blinkers today.
Yes, yeah, which
Troubadour.
could be...
Will they work next time? Maybe not. I don't know. Anything in terms of in running action or not really, Barry? Was anybody kind of backing anything
Ventura
short?
Express traded low of evens. Stanza low at
Evens?
2.12. Yeah, Cahampat 2.8. I'm a Dreamer traded low at 3.2. Your winner hit a high of 38 in running for 41 quid. Had a Betfair SP at 21. So always those sprint races, as you know, they're always pretty lively in running events. People can keep bets in play pre-race, and then obviously you have your more sophisticated in betting in play bettors. So it was quite a lively race.
It almost seems like sometimes
But he split into 2 groups as well,
Yeah.
and caused a lot of confusion.
it's almost like the in-play bets are too keen to try and call the winner, aren't they? Too far out in them races quite often. As you say, you get false prices.
Well, I mean, I've been sat in rooms with other in-running players before, and I remember asking a couple of people, what's your strategy? And, there are some people who are like, well, I just back the one that hits the front and then I back the other one that hits the front. That's a kind of. So there are some people with those kind of strategies of just I'm just gonna follow like a magpie.
You know your stayers and non-stayers, don't you? And your finishers and your rogues and things.
It depends, doesn't it? Everyone has their own strategy, their own tactics. Because this is the thing within running, you can. And this is the thing. I think the biggest mentality you have to switch if you want to make a profit long term is stop trying to back winners and start trying to make profit. Because, as Barry's just said, you could have laid any one of those horses in running at 3 or 4 to 1 who'd hit the front for 50 quid or whatever, taken your 50 quid and gone, right, my horse finished third. I don't care. I've got the job done. And if you do that enough, you're going to come out on top.
Is it a strategy you take? So if you played something in a race that you think was going to win and it's fading, would you try and back something else in that same race? Or would it depend on...
I tend to play fairly early to mid-race.
Okay.
Because I'm more of a track kind of race reading kind of angle. I don't have an advantage late on. It's not my style.
Okay,
like you said, knowing the horses, knowing the way the tracks ride. But I also put bets back in. So I'll think, right, I fancy that. That's got a good position. Bang, I'll back that, and I'll trade it back out later on. So there's loads of ways you can do it. But you don't have to find the winner to make a profit. There's so many different angles.
Okay, our next race is going to be the Hungerford Stakes, which is the Group 2, and the classiest race of the day. And then we're back to Ripon, aren't we, for the big race after that. The Great St Wilfrid, of course, still to come. Big week, of course, next week. York, we're back next Saturday, of course, aren't we, on RP Live. Big day, big week. York, you talked about earlier, Ross. Nats, you must be a big fan of the Knavesmire.
Yeah, it's always just lovely atmosphere, isn't it? And it's kind of some race courses you go to when you've got a crowd, it can be quite spread out. But I just think strategically it's quite clever where they've got the Moet and Shandon Bar, because with the terraces as well. So when you're in the paddock, you really get that vibe and that din of chitter chatter, and so it's very beautifully set up. I do agree with you. If we're talking about actual racing, it can be either like love or hate. It's quite a difficult. I've done quite a few tipster talks there at York, and some days I have absolute cracking days, and other days I can't find a winner.
I've had some bad international weeks myself back in my punting days, so bad memories of York more than good.
But it can be tricky though.
You have to. I used to hate York, and then I sat down at the end of one flat season, and I looked at the tracks I was doing badly at, and I thought, right, I'm going to have a look back at them and try and. I'm obviously
understand
doing something wrong.
why,
And I mean, and I kind of started to crack York a little bit, and just treat it like its own unique entity, because your back horses will win by 3 or 4 lengths at York. You go, oh, that's a superstar. They'll go elsewhere and they'll hate every minute of it, and vice versa. You'll go, well, this horse was in cracking form last. I think we were talking about one the other day. Was it Favourite Moon, or there was a horse who finished second or beat Subjectivist at Haydock, looked like a proper handicapper to follow, came out after York and won by 6 lengths, but at York went off 15-8 favourite, got beaten off the track and finished out the back of the telly. So, and your horses come back to York time and time again.
Yeah, they do, and certain trainers, they do well. They know that, and they do well at York.
And they see the trainers coming up with those, and you think, you think you've got one over on us, but we know.
But we know.
Yeah, we know what this is. And it's, I think it's because this is the thing. When you're writing pieces or tipping horses, you often say, "Will be suited by this track or the way the race is run." If I asked you why a horse was suited by York and not another track, what makes York unique? It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just wide open space, long straight.
Yeah,
pretty flat, isn't it? The home straight.
Is that what it is? Because I was trying to get my head. Is it because it's a both? You need both speed and stamina. You need it's not a because some tracks.
Is it a temptation to go for home too early at York? Perhaps you see horses travelling maybe too out, and jockey kind of goes and
because it has a reputation as a front runner's track, but then sometimes they come from the clouds. So
it's not easy to.
I love it though. I do love it because like you said, it is a fantastic track. You always got good feels. If you back a winner at York, I mean, it's never. Unless you're playing at stupid prices, that you're getting 5, 6, 7 to 1, aren't you, if you're backing a winner at York?
Let's bring Barry. Barry, you're looking forward to York next week. I mean, I'm sure you've had a look at some of the markets. It's going to be a great week. I mean, we've got the rematch potentially between St Mark's Basilica and Mishra, haven't we, from the Eclipse and the International. We've got Snowfall might run the Yorkshire Oaks, Stradivarius. We spoke to John Gosden yesterday. He's going to run the Lonsdale Cup as well. So some pretty big names out next week, Barry.
Yeah, St. Mark's Basilica obviously is the highlight for me. Can't wait to see him. He's odds on. He's around. He was 5-4 on. I think he's into 11-8 on now to beat Mishriff. There's some cracking races there, isn't there? When you look at the likes of even the Louder, I thought caught my eye. Sandrine, who I just think is Andrew Balding, like you've spoken, how good the season he's having. I thought that at 7-4, that looked a standout to me in the Louder. There was another in the Yorkshire Oaks, obviously. If Snowfall goes, she's a two's on chance, isn't she? Like Snowfall or Love. Like which of them do they run there? Wonderful Tonight, probably not, depending on ground, I suppose. But I don't think that they're going down that route. But Snowfall looks an exceptional filly, and the Great Vulture as well. High Definition. Be interesting if we could get to see him. He's currently a 4-1 chance.
Yeah, what's happened to him? He was the big Derby hopeful, wasn't he? He's just disappeared. Isn't he?
He has. Yeah.
And the sprint, of course, we've got Suesa up against Golden Pal. Could be a big clash. Golden Pal for Wesley Ward says the fastest horse he's ever trained. He's adamant that Golden Pal's the best he's ever trained.
He makes those statements, the trainer, doesn't he?
I was just going to say, is he an Aidan O'Brien in the sense that every horse is the fastest or the strongest there? Sometimes you're like, oh, okay, I'll add that to the file of fastest horses you've ever trained.
But it is shaping up. The Nunthorpe's shaping up to be a cracker, isn't it?
It is.
Like if the French filly comes and you have the American filly, you have Winter Power in there, Dragon Symbol, Rohan, Kiamuro, who's sure to go off and set a decent pace, Dakota Gold, who's won a great St. Wilfrid a couple of times. That's in there as well.
Nunthorpe looks a cracker.
Yeah, Nunthorpe should be a great race.
Hopefully you'll get a couple of the 2-year-olds running against the old. It's always.
We used to Lyric Fantasy many years. Barry, you remember Lyric Fantasy, won't you? All those years ago.
I certainly do. Yeah.
She ran and she won the Nunthorpe, didn't she? If memory serves.
Jeff Smith's, was it? Was it his colours? No.
No,
I'm getting her mixed up.
No, it was. I think it was Lord. Was it Richard Hannon? Was it Lord? One of the Lords owned it. But she was flying. She was very fast.
Native as well, won it as a 2-year-old as well, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
There you go, bit of history for you.
That racing history, look, you love it. I know you did.
What was that? That be?
King's Head Over was chiefly part stud, wasn't he? At the start, and then he got sold, did he?
Yeah, and he went to stud, didn't he? And he didn't fancy it.
He came back. Carried on sprinting.
Said, sorry, I'm celibate.
Yeah. Right, Hungerford. We've got to move. We've been told to talk about the Hungerford, so let's talk about the Hungerford. 7 furlong, straight course. Danya doesn't go. Al Sahale is the horse who was third in that Group 2 Summer Mile, wasn't he, at Ascot? That was a good run behind Tilsit, William Buick for Charlie Appleby. I thought he was the likely winner. Well, I was kind of a bit boring. I just went with him. I was asked for a selection for this race. Let's bring Nat.
Thanks, Robbie.
Hungerford Stakes.
Yeah, I thought, this is really tricky.
Ollie Mers, isn't he? He runs in this. He's got a chance.
He's on the front of the race card, so I presume he is.
He's the feature. He's the favourite for the big race.
No, Motorcale is a horse that I like very much for Richard Hannon. I thought Sacred's got a really good chance in this. Won 7 furlongs in that Nelgwen before failing to stay in 1,000 Guineas. We've seen that. But the 1,000 Guineas was quite good, wasn't it? It was a pretty hot contest. Entered York in Group 2 in August. Also the Park Stakes at Donny for the Ledger meeting. So got some good entries. Do you know what is nice about Seiko though? She looks to have such a lovely temperament. Like she's a real nice sort all round. Like right temperament, right attitude, lovely type of looking thoroughbred. But if you ask me to pick the winner, I'm going to go with Motorcale.
Motorcale for Richard Hannon and Dane O'Neill. Yeah, winner 2 runs ago. He was 6, wasn't he, last time at Ascot in that big handicap. That was the international, wasn't it, on King George Day that he ran in, that Dan Yar, who doesn't run today, managed to win. Ross, let's bring you in. Interesting race. We've talked about Sacred. We've talked a little bit about Al Sahale. How did you see it panning out?
Unfortunately, the problem with this again, and looking on paper, and where's the pace? Where's the pace angle? Probably blinkers on Nando Parado. I'm expecting maybe him to go off in front, but apart from that, it doesn't look like it's a mad gallop. You know, Dream Loper's a proper hold-up horse. Al Sahale's a hold-up horse. Sacred's a hold-up horse. Njord's a hold-up horse. Tactical's usually a hold-up horse. Line of Departure was held up when winning at Salisbury. Dubai, usually a smooth traveller mid-division. Lanakash, his first time out, is a keen goer. Yeah. So pretty much every horse is going to be held up. But Motorcale loved the slow pace in the Bunbury Cup and quickened off that like an absolute legend.
Yeah, that was eye-catching, wasn't it? But like, it was weird at Ascot last time because every chance.
Well, he looked like he was going to win
Yeah,
at
I
one
know.
point. He must have got, again, Barry, I don't know if you've got what these horses traded at in their previous runs,
Because
but
it was
Monte Carlo must
strange.
have gone pretty short in
It was a
that Ascot
strange
race, 'cause he
run.
came there.
Yeah, because I've watched it again and again, and I tried.
168, yeah.
there was-
168.
Wow. I mean, there's no excuse. Let's be completely honest.
Well, I think the excuse was he was carrying an insane amount of weight against younger rivals, and yeah,
Still had the.
I'm not sure that stiff finish at Ascot is necessarily carrying that big weight. The stiff finish.
Yeah, fair.
If that had been at Newmarket and he'd come there travelling, I think he finished off his race. But I don't think
Yeah,
he did
fair
at
enough.
Ascot
Yeah,
necessarily.
fair enough. No,
Jim Crowley's back in the saddle again. He's got a rating of 117, so he's £6 superior to Al Sahel. Of course, he's got that rating from bolting up in a handicap, so it's a bit
Bunbury Cup,
misleading.
yeah.
But that second,
That's his race, isn't it? The Bunbury Cup.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah,
that's his
Yeah.
race. That's where he shows his best form, and that July track.
yeah.
But I just thought that it might well be that the races to just run to suit him there, and I thought this race might be run to suit him as well. It's not like he's only won there; he's also won at Ascot off a lower weight. He's also won at Doncaster. He's also won at Lingfield. So I thought if they don't go a clip, he'll be there on the pace, and he could quicken up the best of them. And I thought Motakea, like I said, I had that filthy each-way double with my style 4 places earlier on, so I just want him in the 4.
Motakea, okay. He's I think this race might suit him as well. As you say, no real front runner in it. Barry, it's going to get your play. How would you play this race on the exchange?
I fancy Sacred. I just thought her winning the Nell Gwyn. The form doesn't stack up too much, but I just liked her that day. Obviously, she ran the Guineas, then didn't get home. She's only beaten 4 and a little over 4 lengths. She's missed engagements in Ascot and Goodwood because of the ground. She's got her ground today. Doesn't bother me if there's no pace on because she does settle. She's a good temperament, like Nat says. And if it turns into a sprint, there's nothing to do her for a turn of foot from a furlong and a half out. She's really, really speedy. She's so speedy. Reimer referred to her in a podcast that we did from at the start of the season as like riding a little motorbike. So that's how impressed he was with her. And she's on rating, she's not that far off them really. And she gets the 3-year-old allowance and the Fillies allowance. So puts her right in the mix. She was really well back, but she's on a massive drift now. She's out to 8.4. I'm not going to let that put me off either, Ross. We're going to have 50 on her. And happy to be a price taker here. She's 8.2 and happy to take 8.2 for 50 quid. If it's not all full there, it'll go over onto the other side and we can get matched as people come in. But a couple of horses worth flagging here. Line of Departure, some money for that, 17.5. Was 21 a couple of minutes ago. And we've also seen money for Lakesh, who's the outsider of the Shadwell horses. That was 28. Or no, he's drifted back out now. He's out to 30, Lakesh. Yeah, he's back on the drift again.
Yeah, I had him as an each way.
When he won at Ascot first time last year, Lanakash, they thought, this is a potential classic horse. And then he got beat by New Mandate, didn't he, at Doncaster? Was a bit unlucky that day and still thought there's talent there. Then he bombed out, didn't he, at Newbury on heavy ground when he was favourite last run of the season. But we haven't seen him since.
I mean, the conditions in that race would have not have suited him.
No, it was almost unraceable that day, wasn't it, Newbury?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was proper rain.
It was heavy jumping ground as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was proper Hennessy Gold Cup
Yeah.
ground, wasn't it? But you're right. That New Mandate form. Obviously, New Mandate is a decent horse. One ruler back in third, Royal Scimitar. It's not. You kind of looked at that Flying Scotsman Stakes and you thought, oh, there might be a couple of Group 2 horses in here, but it's not necessarily worked out that way. But he's a keen goer. He's first time back off an absence, isn't he, Lanakash? So he's going to be switched off out the back.
I've got him down as one of my each ways actually. I
was watching the market. I thought I wanted to see a bit of market support from though.
Yeah, true.
3-year-olds that have won this race, by the way, you have to be good. A Day, Acceleration, and Lethal Force in the past 10 years. So you've got to be a Group 1 horse. So you've got Lanakash, Line of Departure, Nando Parado, Sacred, and Tactical. So of those, Sacred possibly over this trip, Group 1 horse, and Lanakash is an unknown. But I'd say the other three, it'd be pushing it a bit.
Yeah, it depends.
Al Sahel, what did you make of that Ascot run last time? It was a good run, wasn't it? Behind Tilsit.
Yeah.
I watched it back this morning because at the time I thought, a little bit disappointing. I kind of thought that it was I'm not saying give him a run out, but he travelled really well. He looked like the strongest, the best horse in the race. He was on the bridle away from home, and it was his first run since March. They like, I think a 7 furlong race in this. I think it's absolutely ideal for him. He's by far the biggest danger for me. if the race gets run to suit, because he's clearly got an engine.
Yeah.
But he won last year, didn't he, at Newmarket? When he beat Mystery Power, they went a mad gallop out in front, and he came cruising through, and he looked like he just joined in, and he went past everyone else, and he was like, I'm so much better than you, it's embarrassing. But he needs a gallop, but he's a very good horse.
Okay, and Dream Loper, we've talked about her. She won really well, didn't she, last
I
time?
bolted up, yeah. And
So impressive. Can she do it again? Right, last couple
Ascot
then.
horse, possibly?
the drying ground will be a tick as well for, but yeah, no, for me, Sacred and Motokael, hopefully to win.
A lot of love for Motta KL on the panel here. Last couple are about to go. Barry's back to Sacred, isn't he? Is that trade?
Yes, it is. It's matched.
Okay, Sacred, the filly, who should have won the Lowther really last year, just got beaten. Right, we're almost set then. Shall I do this one, then you do the Great St Wilfrid, Ross?
Sure.
Okay. Struck a deal.
Team effort.
That's missed out today. Next time.
I'm just here for support.
Okay, here we go. 7 furlongs, the Hungerford Stakes, Group 2. One of the solid 7 furlong contests of the year. Still one to go, isn't there? I see one empty stall still. It's Tactical, I think, the Royal Runner. Who's not in, there's another one, is there as well?
Yeah, right. How can you see that?
Al Suhail. Just saw the...
Arthur Hale's, he's funny, he's been bronking a bit.
Yeah,
bucking.
he's-
Have you seen him do? He's
Yeah.
bucking a bit. He's not clearly feeling well.
Here
Again,
comes
he's a little
Tactical.
quirky.
Royal Ascot winner last year. Is he in? I can see Al Suhail still to come forward. William Buick for Charlie Appleby. Al Suhail completes the line. We're ready, and the Hungerford Stakes is underway. Nando Parada just chased along, leaving the stalls to gather stride. Sacred drops in early. Dubai is the early leader from Nando Parada, who's showing blistering pace now in the blinkers. First time lit up by the blinkers. Nando Parada will stride on and go clear. Dream Loper's going off in chase. A little bit keen, that one, in second place. Ahead of Dubai in third. Al Suhail is next. Then comes Motta KL, who settled nicely in mid-pack ahead of Line of Departure. Nat, how's things going so far, do you think?
Yeah, Al Suhail broke really well. I always forget how Motokael runs almost like with a choke, like, his neck nice and down. But that's nice because he's just nicely relaxed. They've actually gone a bit quicker than I thought they were going to go.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean,
Ross-
that's good early fractions, but Nando
It-
Parada's a sprinter in blinkers, isn't it? So it's not
He's like,
a huge surprise. Al Suhail maybe settled quite well, not as well as you'd expect, but this is the pace that he wants, that's for sure.
Sacred is now beginning to make her way through the field as well. She's passed one or two towards the back of the field. Tactical is the one who's being driven along. Dream Loper's being driven along too. Nando Parado, you'd imagine, is a sitting duck. Here comes Al Suhail, moving well for Buick far side. Also, Njord is making ground towards the far side. Njord is coming with a run now in the red and white for Chris Hayes. Jessica Harrington's Njord has now struck the front.
Come on, Tom.
Stand side Ladder Cash is coming home well, but here's Sacred in the middle, and it's Sacred who's burst through the filly. Look at this. William Haggis, Tom Marcon, Shively Park. She's back. Sacred wins well. Ladder Cash, massive run in second place. Njord only third place. Great shout by Barry. A winning charity bet there with Sacred. That was a quite
well
impressive
done,
turn of foot.
Barry. No, it really was. Well, that's what you
Well
said.
done, Natalie. You
Well,
put it up as well.
yeah, I
didn't
did
you?
put
You
it up as
gave her
well.
a great mention.
No, I did put up as well, but you were all in. I was trying to cover my back.
You're having Motta KL as well. She really quick on that. That was some turn of foot there, I thought, Barry, wasn't it, from her?
Yeah, she's fast, isn't she?
Oh, yeah.
Like, the races run to suit her. The pace was good. She was drawn on the wing, was a bit of a concern, but she got in sharpish and she got cover. They went really good early fractions, and she showed a good turn of foot in the last furlong or so when they came to her. Nord hit a low of even money in running the Jessica Harrington runner. That's a good yardstick to go by as well. Muta Cahill never went shorter than 5.1. Lanikash 4.3 in running a low, but she's done it very, very well. I wonder where she's in next, because
Good run by Ladder
that's her
Cash, isn't
trip,
it?
though.
Yeah.
Maybe the 4A or something like
I think
that.
the winner.
ultimately.
I think the winner's got to go for the Foray, you'd imagine. William Haggis, of course, has farmed the Foray, hasn't he, with one master down the years. This filly could be the replacement, couldn't she? She's a proper 7 furlong horse. You think the Foray on Art Weekend, strong pace.
Good ground is key to her, though, as well.
Yeah, that's
Good
the worry,
fast
isn't it?
ground.
If it gets
the
soft
worry
there.
could be.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, Ascot, you'd have a crack at Ascot, wouldn't you? Over 6 potentially if she handled the conditions.
It's going to be soft, isn't it, Ascot?
Yeah.
Champions Day is always...
But you do get a clip, and she's. I mean, the first two have come from pretty much last and second last. So what looked like it looked on paper like it might be a bit of a crawl, but Nando Parada's gone so quick. Dream Lopez, then you almost get the feel that that Holly Doyle thought, well, I don't want to. There's not going to be any pace here, so I need to be more prominent than Dream Loper normally is, which has completely backfired. Al Suhail is. What I mean, look at Al Suhail travelling. What did he go, Barry?
Sorry, Ross. Also Hale. I don't think it went too short.
He's on the bridle again, and he's found absolutely
nothing, isn't he? One to be wary of.
I think so.
Also Hale. 212, would you believe, for
Yeah.
1,400 quid, 1,500 quid, 1,497 for 212.
It was when the
11
camera
to 10.
switched here. You can see here, head on. There's two horses on the bridle. There's Sacred and there's Alsa Hale.
Did New Yord go short, Barry? A strange race. I thought Alsa Hale was going to win. Then I thought New Yord was going to win. I thought Lanakash was going to win, and then obviously Sacred.
Please, we mentioned Lanakash. That was a great each way. That was a really good sort of
Two 3-year-olds have fought it out as well. And like I said, given the quality of the 3-year-olds that have won this race, you'd be anticipating fairly big things for those two.
She's lovely, isn't she, Sacred? Look, she's a sort of a lighter, slighter frame, very, very athletic, clearly finds it very, very easy with her turn of foot. I know Barry said earlier about the motorbike, but you can see that, and if you can get her into the right position and get her calm and then ask her to go, then she clearly has got a real good engine.
We'll get a few of these back in that. You mentioned that Park Stakes, St Leger week. I was imagining you'll see these line up again, wouldn't you? In that?
Yeah, because all I've written down was the entries I saw yesterday, which was
Lanakash is in it, isn't
York in Group 2, 21st of August. Then in the Kazoo Park Stakes at Donny, that's what I've written. But you know, obviously they'll be really pleased with that performance, won't they? So it'd be really interesting then to see where she goes on for the remainder of the season. But yeah, Lanakash 22-1, that was great.
The worst thing you can have though is a really good quality 7 furlong horse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is like, it's like, oh great, we've got a Group 1 7 furlong horse.
Great.
Fantastic. Can't wait to spend all season
winning Group 2s at the Lennox.
Yeah, or getting beaten over the wrong
track. Yeah,
that's it. Then you get your whole season.
We should have a 7 furlong Group 1 in England, shouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Why haven't we got one?
I don't know.
I honestly, there'll be a reason pattern wise, but I can't think of one.
Obviously, the Lennox is Group 2, isn't it? This race is Group 2. The Park's Group 2. We've got 3 very good races, but there's no like championship. The horse of was it Space Blues would win it, wouldn't he? Well, he would have won it last year.
Well, I mean, this race, right? Like I said, so Lethal Force has won it, Celebrations won it, A Day's won it, Dream of Dreams has won it.
Make the Hungerford a Group 1 campaign. Let's start it here.
I mean,
it would be the showcase.
I know, to make today be the showcase day.
And it would be a nice 1-2. You've got with the Lockinge as well for Newbury for the season as well.
A lot of people love the Hungerford as well. I mean, it's I like the Hungerford. I always like it every year. God, good on you. Let's go. Maureen Haggerson pictures. She'll be.
It was good for Tom as well because I remember when he got beat on her in the Lowther Stakes last year. She traded short, didn't she, Sacred?
Behind Miss Amulet, was it?
Yes. Yeah. And I think Tom was beating himself up a bit afterwards after she got beat. He took the blame for it. I don't think it was his fault. But it's one of those that will give him a bit more pleasure having now won a big race on there.
Yeah, fair point, yeah.
It was a really good ride as well because they've got, like I said, on paper it didn't look like there was pace and then they've gone a right old clip. Again, we're talking about Plan B's, Barry. I don't know what the Plan A was for Sacred necessarily, but suddenly you got the race unfolding perfectly for the hold-up horses. But
what would you do with that, Barry? Do you think... Would she get a mile? I don't know if you switched her off. I mean, she settles quite well now. Could she even get a mile, do you think, possibly?
She could potentially come to Ireland for the matron or something like that, Group 1. And like from there, like you said, maybe Paris, if the ground wasn't too bad. But she is ground dependent. We've seen that with her not running in Goodwood and not taking up an engagement in Ascot. I'm sure at some stage if they keep her in training, which would be highly unusual for Cheveley Park with a 3-year-old filly, but if they did, I'm sure they'd love to have a crack at a mile with her again as an older horse because obviously she's only ran over it once in the Guineas and it was a pretty decent race and she's only beaten a little over 4 lengths in it. So maybe, they could potentially step her up. But for now, they'd hold her to 7 furlongs. And it could be something like the matron.
Yeah, looks like a nice race for her. Right, we're going to move on. We've got the final race coming up. It is the big handicap of the day. It is the Great St Wilfrid Heritage Handicap, of course. It is over 6. Big race for 3-year-olds and upwards. Now, Mr. Wagyu's had a massive season. I was looking how his rating has climbed this year. Extraordinary how he's managed to keep winning. Lampang was my fancy for the race. He's a bit of a character, Lampang. He can get very sweaty beforehand. I want to watch him in the prelims a bit because he completely boiled over for the Stewards' Cup. He was slowly away. He still didn't run that badly. And he pushed Danzino close, didn't he, in a conditions race before that, Ross?
He did, yeah. Danzino won the other day at Nottingham in a race where Danzino didn't look like he was going to win until the final dying strides and he came from God knows where to do it. He's drawn 2, which, as we saw from that from the last race, is
far
fine.
side, isn't he? Yeah,
that's fine, though, isn't it? I mean, Mark's choice was...
Visualise it then, yeah.
The second and third are finished over there, so it's certainly not a negative. It handles the track as well, as we've already discussed. We've just seen Mark's choice win is a crucial factor. I think Lampang's got every chance. I think it was wide open this race. We've ended up nibbling 3 of them.
Lampang's like one of those horses that you just can get egg on your face, because it would worry me. Like, he does fluff the start. He can, like he did at the Stewards Cup, because he gets himself in such a tiz. I suppose the one good thing is Sylvester obviously knows this, but you can't really stop them from getting worked up. That is, he can just be quite a frustrating horse, can't he? He can get really agitated. But he's got so much talent, and of course Tim Easterby's got 6 in this.
He has.
And Staxton, I just thought
last year
perhaps a bit more reliable. I'd say Lampang has got the talent.
So you're a Staxton fan, Nat?
Well, yeah, Ross, what were you telling me before about Duran Fentiman? So yeah, and Staxton. So yeah, 3 course and distance wins.
Yeah, he's ridden Staxton 4 times at the
That's
track,
it.
and he's won 3 of them. And the only one he got beaten on was on soft ground behind Dakota Gold in this race. So every time he's run on good to soft or quicker here, Duran Fentiman has ridden him to win, which is a fair old record.
It's a fair old record, and you know he retains all of his ability as a 6-year-old. He's 8 stone 12. But, you know, obviously we can make a case for quite a lot of these. Like my bigger each way one was Gale Force Mayor, actually. Needs to do an absolute career best, but doesn't necessarily, for me, have to be a career best just to hit the
not
frame.
that big a price now, Gale Force Mayor. Should we get Barry's trade in for this race, and then we'll come back to the selections? Barry, what are you playing here in the Great St Wilfrid?
Yeah, I've picked a real old monkey here. Just another bottle. Now he hasn't got a great record over 6 furlongs, and he gets a bit fractious in the stalls. He can be slowly away. He can play up, but he's in first-time blinkers. He's in a 7-year-old now, so he knows every trick in the book. But they're trying the blinkers on him, which is encouraging. And Kevin Sott is back in the plate as well. And I'm just going to back him very straightforwardly here, because he's drawn 19, so he should be on where the pace is. But the fancied horses seem to be drawn low this time round. But I'm happy enough. Just another bottle. Just in the 6th places. I'm just going to back him in the additional place market here, please, Ross. And we're going to look to have 25 quid on him in the additional place market there. So he's currently around 11 to 4. Happy to be a price taker for 25 quid for just another bottle, 6 places.
Okay.
Job done.
There. One horse I thought was a big price, Boardman. Start of the year. Remember, he was winning races like on the snaff, wasn't he? York. Was it Chester he won at as well? Looked an absolute machine.
Loved him. I was really excited about him.
Is he 32? Or what price is he, Barry? 32 I saw a minute ago on the exchange. Is that right, Boardman?
Boardman is, he's bigger. He's at 34, or he's 34 now. 34. Sorry, Enzo. 34,
he's another ground horse, though, isn't he? I mean,
he wants
good to firm ground.
Against
6th,
him.
14th, 18th.
Soft ground he wants.
He absolutely loves soft ground, yeah. So
And this is rare to see him over the 6th today, isn't it? You know,
I get the feeling that a few more runs on fast ground and
we'll come back to form maybe late autumn. Shall I wait for October maybe then?
I think there'll be a Haydock or something.
He's a seriously good horse.
He's a really good horse, I think.
Really good horse.
But they're loading up. Ross, what's your fancy for this race that you're going to be calling?
Like I said, I've ended up back in 3 because I thought it was wide open. Like I said, 2015 was the last time a horse didn't make all the running in this race.
So we can name the winner after half a furlong then?
Yeah, I reckon so, yeah. There are a few chances. Staxton should be thereabouts. Like I said, he's got a fantastic record. He's well handicapped and he hates soft ground. So Goodwood last time out was completely against him. But I've also had a nibble on Gale Force Mayor.
Have you?
Yeah, she set the race up for Baltimore last time out. She's another one who's going to be down this inside from 18. And one no one's mentioned is Brad the Brief on the far side. Tom Dasker's got a really good record with his handicappers at this track. I think it's something like 6 from 18 with all the horses.
He's a good little horse.
He loves Ripon for some reason, Tom Dasker. He's got a fantastic record. This horse is right up there on the pace. I mean, look at the races he's been
I know Brad
recently.
from the Daskams, and they really rated him very, very highly.
Yeah. I thought he was interesting.
I'm not sure he's quite come to what they thought he was going to be, but still he's got plenty of ability.
I thought he had a little bit of a squeak over on the.
I agree with you on that.
Well, I hope we're right.
Oh, we're almost set. A lot of love for Gale Force Meyer then, and Brad the Brief as well. Give it a good mention by Ross. Barry's played Just Another Bottle. Blinkers on for Kevin Stott, Kevin Ryan. He'll be down the near side, winning Just Another Bottle in yellow. What we're looking at now, Music Society, another horse who's duped a few people, I'm sure, in the run a few times without winning.
Lampang looks calm.
Yeah, I'm happy with Lampang.
It's really good. It was really calm.
Over to you, Ross Brierley, to call it.
They're ready. Great St Wilfrid off and racing away. Lampang was calm, but he's not got out fantastically well over on that far side, but not too bad. Again, they are split into to two groups. Musica is the middle one going over to the far side, and Mr Wagyu, interestingly, makes a choice to come down this near side. So Musica crosses over and takes it up on the far side, and Soldier's Minute is the front runner down this near side here. So over on the far side, it is Musica leading it up from Staxton, who's gone over that far side as well. Just another bottle is also down this near side with Gale Force Mayor and Soldier's Minute, Mr Wagyu, and behind those Intrinsic Bond. Over on the far side, Musica has a kick. Lampang trying to pick up Borden and catching the eye the way he's travelling, although he's behind a wall of horses down this near side rail. Just another bottle's got a cracking chance here. The blinkers seem to be working wonders for Barry down this near side rail. Soldier's Minute still battling on. Gale Force Mayor, Mr Wagyu, Lampang coming through with a run, but just another bottle has kicked on at the furlong pole. Just another bottle is clear in the headgear. Just another bottle. Front runners. He's up there on the pace with the headgear. Just another bottle has taken this race to pieces. Gale Force Mail and Golden Apollo, an Intrinsic Bond for places. But just another bottle. Crack one open, Barry.
Barry, that was awesome.
No, I didn't think he'd
Easy
win
game.
like that. No,
Easiest race of the day for you, Barry.
Barry, I actually
Barry.
thought...
I only backed him into sixth.
You backed him in the sixth places, Barry.
Wasn't I? Yeah.
Barry, that was awesome.
That was never in doubt. He had a Betfair SP of 29.5.
Wow.
You know, he's a 7-year-old. He hasn't got many secrets from the handicapper at this stage, but the blinkers have worked the oracle with him. He had a good draw and he had a very positive ride from Kevin Sott, who gets on so well with him. So, yeah, great result.
Yeah, but good on you. I actually went to make a coffee before and I saw a bottle of wine in the fridge, so we might crack that open here in the Racing Post.
Incredible, wasn't it? You said that whoever leads
You said we could call the winner half
in front after furlong, I think.
Yeah, you look at this now.
I'm afraid I feel so annoyed because Lampang was completely wrong side. I mean, those are look how far behind they were on the far side.
They're really far behind.
We're talking 7 or 8 lengths behind.
Managordo wins that side, but just another bottle. I mean,
Managordo was 5th, I think, overall.
He's eased him up. He's coming to the line. He's
Look at this.
Tight second. Gale Force Mayor ran well, the one you mentioned.
Yeah, really
And
well.
Golden Apollo's involved in that photograph for second. I think Intrinsic Bond was 4th.
Yeah.
Managordo 5th.
I think that's
6th was M. Bauer, I think.
Yeah, no, Gale Force Mayor's, ran a...
Gale Force Mayor's possibly 2nd or maybe 3rd. It's tight for 2nd with Golden Apollo. But look at that. Kevin Stott.
Yeah, first 3 home drawn 19, 17 and 18. So quite heavily towards this near
Yeah, that's
side.
cool. That's actually really interesting though, isn't it?
But again, it's a real good move early on by Kevin Stott, who grabs this near side rail. And you said the winner was in front after 50 yards.
After 50, yeah.
Basically. So, again...
I'm a bit annoyed now I've not played that sort of combination exactas and trifectas with the high draws now.
I'm a bit annoyed I wasn't sat at home betting him running, knowing that stat. I could have it could have been, right, he's at the front, bang.
It's all over. They might as well have had the winning post at the 4th.
I'm a bit annoyed I didn't listen to Barry.
Yeah, I mean, Barry's a bit annoyed he didn't back him to win.
Are you annoyed, Barry?
Absolutely good. Because usually you could throw a dart in a race like that, couldn't you? But it's all about the functionality of the exchange, as you know, Ross, and I just wanted to show people the additional place.
I'm going for alliteration here. I think the best bet, and I'm going to put of the day, is Barry.
The best Betfair bet of the day.
The best Betfair of the day is Barry.
18-1 the winner, 12-1. Golden Apollo was 2nd, by the way. Gale Force Meyer was 3rd. Intrinsic Bond 4th. But look at the draws. 19.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the first 4.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, how have we missed out on the quad? What they call it, the first 4 home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, I'm surprised. I thought
a race that's dominated by the high draws. If you were drawn low, you might as well just stayed at home.
TriCast, have a guess.
50 quid.
50 quid, yeah. We've had it on for 50 quid. We're retiring. No, £1,585 for the TriCast.
Missed because that was the trifecta rollover race as well today, and I just thought, it's easy now, isn't it? I guess. But the first 4 though,
hindsight,
all drawn high.
Well, we said it was actually the consolation race, wasn't it? That said the highest drawn horse has won for the past 4 years, and that the front runner always wins this race. So
I thought there was enough speed low though for something to be there on the far side, like maybe a Brad the Brief or a Lampang or a Mr Wagyu or something. But
no, they really went clear, didn't they?
Yeah.
You're gonna, it's. I mean, it's a good result because we profited on it. But,
so the charity have done very well again.
But we're all sat here thinking
retraining your racehorses.
We're all
timing it.
We're all livid. we're all
absolutely livid.
We're all absolutely livid. But what we are pleased for is the ROR, which is a fantastic
nice
series.
Again.
Yeah, sacred, a cracking return.
And of course, next week we'll be looking forward to York. Of course, big day on RP Live again. Next Saturday. It's been an enjoyable day. Highlights of the day very quickly. Ross, what would be what are you taking from the day?
What am I taking from the day? That is a good question. Ask Nat first.
So my forecast with their Hookham, that was brilliant.
Yeah, Huckham, you love Huckham, as we know now.
Yeah, but I thought Sacred, that was really good. She's really smart. I'd love to see her win like that and such a likeable type. So that was exciting for me.
I would say I'd be keeping an eye on Bayside Boy in a similar grade, but
Yeah.
I think Sunset Bay, the
Yeah.
was possibly not only unlucky horse, but has clearly run into Aratus, who will now go into a much
Yeah.
warmer race. And I think if Sunset Bay gets another Class 3,
Yeah.
There's
would be,
enough to do, wasn't there? There's
yeah.
enough to do.
very very hard to beat.
Yeah, we had some decent action. Ali Nova, of course. Mitro's on fire, other winners earlier on as well. Barry, before we say goodbye, just want to get your final thoughts. I mean, another profitable day, I think, for you for the charity. Great shout. How you picked the Great St Wilfrid winner like that was extraordinary. Well done.
Yeah, it was just, that's one of those things, Enzo. You know yourself, you throw a couple of darts in it and miss the board. But yeah, it was a slow start, I suppose. Slowly away, the race report would read, waded with, came through between runners and finished well.
Are you going to open a
Sacred
bottle, Barry?
I'll be having several tonight. Yeah, I'm going out for a meal with my wife and a couple of friends, and I'm looking forward
What's
to
your
that.
tipple? What's your favourite drink?
I like a beer. I'm trying to stay away from the wine now. It goes down too easy.
Oh, I
get
know it.
tired and sleepy at the table, so I'm warned off the wine. Just beer. Stay with the beer tonight.
Okay, well, Barry, we'll let you have a few beers. And are you back with us next week?
I certainly am. Yeah. And great call, Ross. Great calls, both of them.
Tremendous. I'll
Those
tell
two
you
big
what,
handicaps.
yeah.
Yeah, well done.
Enzo dodged a bullet there, and you did really, really well.
He did.
Well
I think-
presented, Enzo.
I
Well
think-
presented.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautifully done.
Thank you.
We can-
It's strange sitting in this chair when I'm normally there. But
It's also
I quite
strange
enjoyed it.
calling when you're a commentator as well.
I didn't get the streams of abuse from Dave Orton I normally get as well when I'm on here. So
Dave.
That's
a
it.
bonus as well.
I'll do that off air.
Probably
Watch it fine.
Yeah, I'll do that off air.
Okay. Right. Thanks very much, Nat, for your
Thank you.
contribution.
Thank you.
Copious notes as well. Picking winners, which was always good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Job done.
I picked a winner every time I've been on. Actually, I picked 2 winners today.
You did. And a forecast, which was very profitable as well.
Well done.
Ross, well done. It was a good day. We started with frustrating for you with the first one getting chinned on the line by Nat's selection.
Yeah, we've had one chin on the line. Although the ones that snuck into this is the thing. You joke when one wins like that, but when you do play a straight bat, it often
Yeah,
often
fair.
comes up. So Pablo Escobar got the money, but yeah, not.
But you were right about whoever led early would win the Great
Yeah.
St Wilfrid. So we know for
Yeah.
next year.
We do.
Well, this is the thing. That's what that's the strategy. But it's trying to work out which horse that is pre-race is another matter.
Yeah.
Well, thoroughly enjoyable. So thank you very much,
Good
both
fun.
of you.
Nice way to spend the afternoon. Thank you very much to the panel. Thanks to Barry as well. Thanks to you for your socials. Hopefully you enjoyed the programme as well. I think Dave Orton will be back with you. I've enjoyed my guest presenting role today. Thank you for watching Racing Post Live. Do please gamble responsibly. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you're back with us again next Saturday. Bye for now.